of his vehicle and struck that box truck, causing the initial accident. Marin, the man believed to have caused that crash, is charged with 2 counts of aggravated driving under the influence, failure to reduce speed, improper lane usage, failure to render aid, leaving the scene of an accident, and having no valid insurance, and driving with a revoked driver's license. 5:04 on AM 560, The Answer. Illinois State Board of Elections is admitting this morning that some non-U.S. citizens may have voted illegally in the 2018 election. Officials say nearly 575 non-U.S. citizens were inadvertently registered to vote in Illinois, and many of them did vote. Almost all of the voter registrations were in and around the Chicago area. State Republicans say lawmakers were promised automatic voter registration would never register someone who is not supposed to vote. They want to find out why that turned out not to be true. A church is destroyed following a fire on the south side. The blaze breaking out yesterday inside Beacon Light Ministries near Michigan Avenue and 111th. Pastor Jerome Powell spoke as he watched the building go up in flames yesterday.
You're at a standstill right now, so we're holding on to each other, showing love.
The flames caused the building's roof to collapse. No major injuries were reported, but a firefighter was hospitalized with cuts to his head. Oak Brook Terrace Mayor Tony Rigucci is stepping down as he faces an ongoing federal corruption investigation. That corruption investigation has entangled several elected officials and politically connected contractors embroiled in a federal probe involving SafeSpeed, a controversial company that operates lucrative but constitutionally questionable red light cameras in dozens of Chicago area suburbs. 2 young brothers who were wounded in a shooting last week at a Chicago barbershop are on the road to recovery. Family spokesperson says the 11 and 12-year-olds were released from the hospital Saturday. The boys were among 5 shot at a barbershop on the west side. No arrests have been made. Police say the man who was fatally shot at a Madison, Wisconsin apartment over the weekend was apparently targeted by the person who killed him. Police saying Sunday no motive or suspect have been identified. Dane County Medical Examiner's Office has identified the victim as 20-year-old Antonio Stidham of Chicago. Chicago suburbs are known as a congestion choke point for train traffic. Many believe the worst in the nation. Now the federal government wants to hear from you if you're stuck waiting for a train to pass. Federal Rail Administration has set up a web page for people and emergency responders to report when a train is blocking a crossing. They want to know when, where, and for how long you're blocked. Blackhawks host the Panthers tonight before heading into the All-Star break. But it's not your average NHL game. Since both teams are riding 5-game winning streaks, there's a few more heads watching, and Florida head coach Joel Quenneville is returning to the United Center for the first time since leading Chicago to 3 Stanley Cups in his 11-plus years as Blackhawks head coach. Welcome back, Coach. Giannis put up a triple-double. Bucks beat the Bulls 111-98 in Milwaukee. By the way, Damian Lillard last night in the NBA had 61 points, helping the Blazers over the Warriors. College hoops, Illinois plays at Purdue. And in other college basketball tonight, Northwestern hosts number 17 Maryland, and our Northern Illinois Huskies visit Kent State. The news is service of Ruby Tuesday. Fajitas are back at Ruby Tuesday. Stop in for fresh grilled veggie, shrimp, or chicken fajitas for only $7.99. Authentic flavors that turn a meal into a fiesta. Only for a limited time, only at Ruby Tuesday. 5:07, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager is impressed with the president's record.
The list is extraordinary. Judges, Supreme Court justices, domestically, internationally, the economy, the unemployment rate. It's quite remarkable when you think about it. No one predicted this. I sit in awe of what he has accomplished.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/search. That's ZipRecruiter.com/search.
Are you looking for senior care for your mom or dad but don't know where to start? Hi, I'm Jen London with The Place for Mom. Nobody knows your parent or loved one better than you, and nobody knows senior living better than the experts at A Place for Mom. It's a free service, and we've helped thousands of families find the right place for their mom or dad. There's a place for answers, a place for mom. Call today.
Call A Place for Mom at 1-800-391-1755. That's 1-800-391-1755.
This is Lan He-chen of the Hoover Institution for Townhall.com. The people of Taiwan have just re-elected incumbent President Tsai Ing-wen to another 4 years in office. It was a resolute expression of democracy just under 100 miles from mainland China, in a place where freedom has flourished in the shadow of authoritarianism. The recent protests in Hong Kong were a catalyst for the incumbent president, who rode warnings about China's increasing desire to impose regional hegemony to a resounding victory. Taiwan is a trusted ally of the United States. Our people share a love of freedom, a belief in the rule of law, and an understanding that free markets and free people are fundamental to a flourishing society. Taiwan's election reaffirmed the desire of its people to draw closer to the West, and to the United States in particular. And our leaders should do what they can to ensure that the U.S.-Taiwan relationship remains strong and vibrant for years to come. I'm Lan He-chen.
Alliance Defending Freedom, Protecting Religious Liberty. Check the ad at townhallreview.com.
Upwork has the largest network of independent professionals, like developers, designers, data scientists, you name it. And they're proven, rated, and reviewed. So when you need in-demand talent, on demand, Upwork is how.
5:10. Check of the roads in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
On Chicago's northwest side, Milwaukee Avenue near Central Park Avenue. Crash. This involves a car going into a building there. Willow Springs Archer still closed between 83 and Willow Springs Road due to flooding. Seeing delays on 8094 westbound I-65 to Grant with a crash. 3 right lanes are blocked there on the westbound side. Inbound Ryan, traffic moves well, but outbound, the express lanes have been closed between the Stevenson and the 31st Street. Crash just reported in that area. Prepare to slow down approaching. All traffic outbound will go into the locals at the Stevenson Expressway. Elsewhere, it's still fairly quiet. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next, your official Chicagoland weather forecast. That comes from our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Today, mostly sunny, the high at 29. It'll be partly cloudy tonight, low 20. Some sun to start tomorrow, then increasing cloudiness, high 35. Thursday, cloudy with rain or snow showers, the high at 35. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Right now, 15 at O'Hare, 22 along the lakefront, 17 Midway, 8 in Aurora. And again, some freezing fog is beginning to be reported around Joliet this morning. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts next on AM 560, The Answer.
Get ready for the Rocket Mortgage Super Bowl Squares Sweepstakes, the largest official game of Super Bowl Squares ever with millions of dollars in prizes. And best of all, it's free to enter. Every score change during Super Bowl 54 pays out $50,000. That's right, touchdowns, field goals, safeties, even extra points. We'll draw one lucky winner from the corresponding square to win $50,000. It could be you! Plus, 2 grand prize winners will win $500,000 they could use toward their dream home. One way to enter, 2 ways to win. See rules and enter now at RocketMortgageSquares.com. Then tune in February 2nd to see if you win. Rocket Mortgage, official mortgage sponsor of Super Bowl 54.
No purchase necessary. 18 years or older except Alabama, Nebraska, and Mississippi. Ends January 30th. Licensed all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. The NFL is not sponsored promotion in any way.
For over a half a century, Seven Dwarfs Family Restaurant has been feeding and putting smiles on the faces of hungry adults and kids. Their mouthwatering food and unique decor are why they're one of the oldest and most popular restaurants in DuPage County. I used to go there all the time as a kid. Get comfy in a table or booth, enjoy the colorful murals on the wall, and experience why generations of customers have made Seven Dwarfs their regular go-to spot for the best breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Everything on Seven Dwarfs' extensive menu is homemade from scratch, including 3 to 4 daily specials and a choice of 2 homemade soups. And be sure to save room for Seven Dwarfs' popular ice cream and sundaes. When you're craving a truly delicious home-cooked meal but don't feel like cooking, visit Seven Dwarfs Family Restaurant on Roosevelt Road in Wheaton. At Roosevelt and President on Wheaton's east side, Seven Dwarfs is open every day from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Visit sevendwarfsrestaurant.com or call 630-653-7888. Host and owner Sam Sadiku looks forward to serving and welcoming you to Seven Dwarfs family of happy diners.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, and your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So what do you think of Mitch McConnell now? I know there's a lot of people that are critical of McConnell for being institution man, being establishment Republican.
Cocaine Mitch.
Well, yeah.
I know, which is a joke. Oh, by the way, I saw that sign on Saturday, too, at the Women's March. Get rid of Cocaine Mitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's about the level of seriousness you expect from somebody wearing genitalia on their head. But Mitch McConnell is also a tactician. He's a parliamentarian, and he's a Machiavellian politician, and he wants to be Senate Majority Leader, continue to be Senate Majority Leader, not Senate Minority Leader. And so yesterday, unsurprising to me, perhaps surprising to you, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
Yeah.
He introduced a resolution to be voted up today that would limit the Senate impeachment trial to 2 days of presentation by House managers, 2 days of presentation by the president's defense team.
Yeah, they'll have 24 hours within 2 days to present their evidence.
And effectively move this to a expeditious acquittal. That's the way this is setting up.
By midweek.
And so the question, Mitch McConnell making the right move, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. I know people want, oh, no, I want a reckoning. I want Biden and Joe and Hunter. I want both Bidens. I want Schiff. I want the whistleblower. I want everybody, and I want a full reckoning and a full clearing of the air. And if that goes 8 weeks, as Ted Cruz predicted it might, if witnesses were called, then so be it. I don't think so. I think this is absolutely the right play by McConnell.
Chuck Schumer last night, outraged by these new regulations.
After reading McConnell's resolution, it's clear McConnell is hell-bent on making it much more difficult to get witnesses and documents, and intent on rushing the trial through.
Speaking of rushing the trial through, what did the House Democrats do?
Indeed.
They rushed the trial through. Yes.
For me, not for thee. That's the philosophy of the left, of course. So why should this be any different?
And then they were. Oh, sorry.
Here's the thing on witnesses too. Yeah. Like McConnell, you can listen to Susan Collins and Murkowski, even Romney and others talk about. I'd like to hear from witnesses. That's fine, as long as McConnell is managing his caucus. Go ahead. Pick out 3 swings or senators who are up for re-election in swing states this cycle. And if you think that positions them better for re-election, to vote for witnesses so they can go back to their state and their constituents and say, I tried to get witnesses. I know that's the popular thing to do. I tried to do it. But, Mitch McConnell, he just drove this through. So don't blame me. If that gives them some separation from McConnell and benefits them politically, Susan Collins in Maine, Tom Tillis in North Carolina, Cory Gardner in Colorado. Not Mitt Romney because he doesn't need it.
Yeah, he doesn't need it.
But fine. You've got 3 votes, because here's the other important note. A tie is a loss, according to McConnell. This is an underappreciated aspect of the run-up to the trial, which is John Roberts, Chief Justice Roberts, does not have a tie-breaking vote. He could if the Senate rules provided for it. He does not have a tie-breaking vote if it's a 50-50 on witnesses or any other issue. McConnell said explicitly a tie is a loss. So he's got 3 votes to play with on matters like witnesses.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line.
Levi in Goose Island.
Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, I was going to say, I agree 100% with Dan here. This should just be done and over with. We don't need to tear apart the country any more than it's already torn apart. I think they should just speed it through. Like, it needs 2/3 of a Senate vote to get passed through. It's never going to happen. Just finish it, be done with it, move on.
All right, thanks.
Keep on winning.
So Democrats have 24 hours within 2 days, right? And then senators on both sides get up to 16 hours for questioning, but the questions are handwritten.
So it's a week.
So So by midweek, this could be over. Of next week, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because it's going to start in earnest. They're going to go over the rules today, but it's going to start in earnest at 1 o'clock, noon our time tomorrow on Wednesday. So.
And you've got some additions to the Trump legal defense team, too.
Oh, yeah.
Republican congressman, the following Republican congressman on the legal team: Jordan Collins, Mark Meadows, John Ratcliffe, Elise Stefanik, Lee Zeldin, Mike Johnson, Debbie Lesko. All these House Republicans that are being added to the Trump defense team, which makes sense because they're the ones who sat through all the hearings and questioned all the witnesses and have been following this with great detail for its entirety.
And they said they're going to be TV surrogates, to talk to the media. They're going to be the liaisons.
Exactly.
Which is good because at least they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And I trust them.
Now, interestingly, Bill Kristol, and I understand he's an ever-Trumper, and I understand he's an antagonist. But here's, just so you get an alternative viewpoint on this, they're trying to read the tea leaves, and by that I mean CNN polls, and essentially argue that, no, this is a huge victory for Nancy Pelosi, that she and House Democrats have moved the country, and this is a victory for her that will redound to her benefit and Democrats' benefit in November.
I think the big picture is this. Back in August, when the Ukraine story broke, or I guess it was early September, and there was the big debate, would Speaker Pelosi go to impeachment? I was strongly in favor of it, and I had many, many discussions and arguments with people who didn't like Donald Trump, but who thought this is very risky politically. Look what happened under Clinton. There's not majority support for doing it at the time. The numbers were about 40%. This will be backlash, backfire. Trump's approval will go up. What's amazing, what's most interesting to me is that has not happened. The numbers aren't great for the Democrats or for those who are in favor of, but a majority in favor of conviction. Trump's approval stuck at 43%, 70% want witnesses. I think it's interesting that the public is as supportive as it is, and I think it's a huge victory for Nancy Pelosi.
Huge victory for Nancy Pelosi? What do you think?
I think she has egg in her face. In fact, too, that she's doing the late night rounds on television and fist pumping people and silver platters and gold pens. That's not, weighing heavy on my heart, which is the other narrative that they were pushing. That this is for the American people. This isn't easy to do, and then they're out having parties.
The impeachment conviction polling is basically just a referendum on whether or not you like Trump with these surveys. It's such a different calculus than the vote in November because a fraction of those who support impeachment and conviction actually believe he's going to be convicted. This is venting. And the margin of error in these surveys basically gives you, more or less an even split among the electorate. And that's more or less where Trump is in terms of his approval rating. So the interesting thing is, despite that, even by CNN's own polling, his approval rating has gone up since he has been impeached. So what does that tell you? It tells you that actually Pelosi, despite what Bill Kristol said, hasn't really persuaded anybody that wasn't already in a particular camp, and particularly those independents, they don't enjoy the majority support of independents, which are the small fraction of actual swing voters. I agree with Bill Jacobson over at Legal Insurrection. He does the Legal Insurrection blog, which is a good blog, conservative lawyers, if you're looking for such things. He writes, screw the base by letting Adam Schiff do to the impeachment trial what Senate Democrats did to the Kavanaugh hearings, and Republicans will have hell to pay in November from their own base. It's like the vote on Kavanaugh in that way, as he argues against voting for witnesses. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good comparison. Ed in Oak Brook.
Yeah, you know what, Dan? I got really 3 points. 1, I don't believe in polls. 2, I don't agree with you. I do want witnesses only because they're just going to use that throughout the whole election process, how this whole thing was a shame. And another thing, I wish you guys would do this every single day. But all of the people like me that call up and vent on the phone when we get our 20 seconds or whatever, you know what? I challenge all of them to help a candidate, a Republican candidate, win, like the person that's going to go against, like Sean Casten. Get out there and engage. Stick with that person. Hang with them. Buy their tickets, and just get out there and do more than just talk. Get out there and let's beat these Democrats so this crap doesn't happen again.
All
Have
right.
a nice day.
Thanks, Ed. Yeah, that's a good message. Chip in St. Charles.
I think the only thing that the Democrats accomplished and Pelosi accomplished through the whole impeachment thing is they just gave the people who hate Trump a way to do it. And but I think what the Democrats have revealed about themselves is if they ever got a chance to really run the country, you know, the president, the Senate, the House, that the whole country would turn into like the Stalinist kangaroo court that they turned the whole impeachment process into, that we would lose the rule of law because that's how they would run things. They're showing us through the impeachment process how they would run things, and it's pretty scary.
Thanks, Chip.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Is a home renovation on your New Year's resolution list? It's hard to know who you can trust when remodeling your home. How can you tell if you're going to get your dream project or become one of those bad remodeling stories? Advanced Design Studio thinks remodeling shouldn't be painful. If you're nervous about home remodeling, Advanced Design is the company to call to overcome your fears. Providing positive remodeling experiences for nearly 30 years, their common sense remodeling, design, and build process makes remodeling predictable, averting delays and preventing budget overruns to produce a rewarding remodeling experience. So if 2020 includes a new kitchen or bath, a finished basement, or a much-needed addition to your home, make this the year you get the home of your dreams without the headache. Visit the team at AdvancedDesignStudio.com to learn more. That's AdvancedDesignStudio.com or call 847-836-2600. That's 847-836-2600.
Stop wasting energy. There's a better way. Your company could be receiving energy efficiency incentives by recycling waste heat from on-site power generation equipment and turning it into useful energy. The federal government is pushing utility companies to be more efficient. In turn, utility companies are offering incentives for your business. Charles Equipment can help get you up and running with cogeneration, also known as CHP, Combined Heat and Power, a clean and efficient way to generate heat and power. CHP systems can supply at least a portion of a building's electrical load and capture waste heat from hot exhaust gases for use in heating, cooling, hot water, and dehumidification. Charles Equipment can install and manage the cogen equipment at your facility and help your energy use become 70 to 90% more efficient. Start making better, more energy efficient decisions and save money in the process. Call Charles Equipment 630-834-6000 or online at charlesequipment.com. Reliable industrial generators. They've got the power.
Names matter. Your name, the name you've made for yourself, and the name of the company you represent. Because of you, they're names people can trust. That's why at 4imprint, every name and logo is printed with certainty. We pay attention to every detail because we know the way your name appears is the way it's remembered. So you'll know for certain that every item, from the right apparel to the most popular tech items, will be right the first time, on time, every time, at a great price, guaranteed. Because when you have passion, integrity, and certainty, the only name they'll remember is yours. Explore thousands of promotional products at 4imprint.com. That's the number 4, imprint.com. For imprint. For certain.
My name is David Hochberg. Meet Kyle, 70, who called for information about reverse mortgage loans, not for himself, but for his 92 years young mom, Ann. Before Kyle's father passed away, Kyle promised he would help his mom, who needed 24-hour supervision, to live in the home they've owned over 40 years. Team Hochberg's reverse mortgage loan expert, Jose Rodriguez, answered all their questions and explained how a reverse mortgage loan would allow Ann to defer her mortgage payment and access her home's equity to fund the care she needs to continue to safely live in her home. If you or a loved one would like to learn more about the many benefits of reverse mortgage loans from a local reverse mortgage loan expert who will always look out for your financial best interests, call Team Hochberg now at 855-56-DAVID. That's 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Speaking of the rule of law, which the Democrats have been speaking a lot about, why no respect for the rule of law in Virginia? We'll have that at 5:38.
And later, 60% of Iowans aren't committed to their first choice candidate. What will happen now that 4 of the senators are off the campaign trail? But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. 15 degrees here. Some freezing fog reported in Joliet. And the public today will get a look at a man accused of terrorizing South Florida for years. Robert Kohler will appear in a Broward County courtroom after his arrest this week for a series of rapes from the 1980s. That man known as the pillowcase rapist. While President Trump is in Davos for the World Economic Forum today, his Senate impeachment trial is about to get fully underway in Washington. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell announced proposed rules Monday night. In Davos this morning, the president, instead of talking about impeachment, talked about the economy.
Just last week alone, the United States completed 2 extraordinary trade deals. The agreement with China and the United States Mexico-Canada agreement, the 2 biggest trade deals ever made.
The minority leader in the Senate, however, is talking impeachment. Here's Chuck Schumer.
It is now certain that Leader McConnell is going along with President Trump's cover-up, hook, line, and sinker.
In other news this morning, face masks are selling out. Temperature checks at airports are mandatory in China as they try to control the outbreak of a new coronavirus. It's reached 4 other countries and territories and threatens to spread further. 6 have died. Iraqi police say several Russian-made rockets hit Baghdad's green zone on Monday. No casualties. Hundreds of Central American migrants stranded in a sort of no man's land on the river border between Guatemala and Mexico after running up against lines of Mexican National Guard. The troops are keeping the migrants from moving into that country and north to the U.S. The artist known as Prince and his estate are dismissing wrongful death claims against Walgreens Pharmacy and the doctor who prescribed pain medications for the artist. Prince died of an accidental overdose of fentanyl in 2016. The dismissals are likely the result of legal settlements. Well, if you ever turned down a job working for Delta Airlines, you might regret that this morning. Delta's giving workers an extra 2 months' pay as part of their profit-sharing plan. CEO says the company is nothing without its 90,000 workers, and they deserve all the credit. The payout is thanks to a strong performance last year and is reportedly a record amount. Delta, by the way, has been doing this for the last 5 years. Health officials continue to investigate after 3 cases of Legionnaire's disease have popped up at a retirement community in west suburban Carroll Stream over the past several months. A Joliet police officer is free on bond after being charged in a crash on I-55 near Plainfield that killed a Berwyn police officer. 2 young brothers wounded in a shooting last week at a Chicago barbershop are on the road to recovery. The 11 and 12-year-olds have been released from a hospital. And the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago marking the 50th anniversary of a program honoring the achievements of African Americans in science, technology, engineering, art, and medicine, and focusing and encouraging young people to consider those fields. The Black Creativity Project began in 1970 This year's program runs through March 1st. Bucks beat the Bulls 111-98. Blackhawks take on Joel Quenneville and the Florida Panthers tonight, while the Fighting Illini are at Purdue in the Big Ten. 5:33. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity doesn't see much difference in the Democratic frontrunners.
You got Bernie Sanders now. Volunteers are being told to zero in on the weaknesses of fellow socialist Elizabeth Warren. My personal opinion is there's not really a dime's worth of difference between the two of them. They're both radical, extreme, left-wing socialists that want Medicare for all and would want the Green New Deal.
The Sean Hannity Show, afternoons at 2, right before Steve Cortez at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Message and data rates may apply. Individual results vary. Exclusions apply.
Contacts and glasses are such a hassle. I'd love to finally get LASIK, but
I'm going to stop you right there. If you want LASIK, then the LASIK Vision Institute has officially taken away everything standing in your way.
Isn't LASIK expensive?
Not at the LASIK Vision Institute. We're offering dramatically low prices, as low as $220 per eye, and an absolutely free consultation. See for free if LASIK is right for you by texting LIKE to 350350.
But I'm really busy.
A text only takes seconds. The LASIK procedure typically only takes 15 minutes, and most patients can get back to work the following day. The LASIK Vision Institute uses the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology that helps the majority of patients achieve 20/20 vision for as little as $220 per eye. Dr. Greenberg has performed 75,000 laser eye surgeries and is one of the most experienced LASIK surgeons in Chicago.
What's that text again?
Text LIKE to 350350. That's LIKE to 350350 to schedule your free consultation today.
Do your employees complain about your 401k program? Has it been more than 6 months since your 401k advisor provided a plan review? Well, the 401k experts at Clear Financial Strategies offer ways to make your plan better. Internal company surveys show significant increases in employee 401k satisfaction after the fiduciary advisors at Clear Financial Strategies enter the scene. Clear Financial Strategies uses a process to help streamline enrollment, education, investment selection, and more that will free up time for human resources and restore employee confidence in their 401k plan. Additionally, because Clear Financial Strategies does not accept commissions or other conflicts of interest, your employees tend to see better account results due to lower costs and greater efficiencies. Go to clearfinancialstrategies.com to learn more about the firm. Then call Alan Broughton direct at 815-788-6092 to schedule a free, no-obligation appointment. Again, that's 815-788-6092, clearfinancialstrategies.com.
It's open enrollment season, and MediShare is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry that saves most families about $500 a month. Google MediShare and see if it is a fit for you.
5:36 in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Well, it's all clear on the Ryan Expressway outbound. The express lanes had been blocked between the Stevenson and 31st. Everything has reopened there again after a crash. And inbound traffic still moves without significant delay. 8094 is fine again as well. There was an earlier crash causing mild delays near Grant Street. The Edens is clear. Same goes for the Kennedy. Reversible lanes are open inbound. No delays to report yet on the Eisenhower or the Stevenson. I-57 is good. Bishop Ford still looking pretty good as well. The northwest side crashed, pulling a car into a building right around 3010 North Milwaukee Avenue near Central Park Avenue. Archer still flooded Willow Springs. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Expect mostly sunny skies today and a high of 29. 16 at O'Hare, 7 this morning in Aurora, and your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, and your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So 25,000 people gather in Richmond to rally for their individual constitutional gun rights against Ralph KKK Northam and Virginia Democrats who are moving a series of gun control measures. the annual lobbying day that's done by gun rights organizations in Virginia, obviously bigger than normal because of the move by Virginia Democrats and the antagonism of Ralph Northam. He's almost as antagonistic towards constitutional gun rights as he is towards babies being born.
And much to their surprise, there wasn't a mass shooting. Nobody got killed by a vehicle. There was only one simple arrest for a misdemeanor.
Actually,
it was
surprise.
peaceful.
It was the way that I heard the press talk about it. It seemed like disappointment, like they were rooting for violence. Bunch of white supremacists, white nationalists, doesn't represent America. This is the problem with the NRA. This is the problem with the gun rights movement. Look at all these middle-aged guys trying to play weekend warrior. That's who was there. And this is why the NRA is going to lose, because it's just middle-aged white men who are, of course, white nationalists and haters and so on and so forth.
NBC News, even one of the reporters tweeted out that, reporters covering tomorrow's white nationalist rally in Virginia. I'm absolutely begging you. I mean, that's how instead of saying it's a pro-gun rally, it's a white supremacist rally.
Let's hear from white supremacists like this black gentleman, Chuck, from Virginia.
They want to liken this to Charlottesville, and they want to anticipate crime and violence. But these are peaceful people who come around with their weapons, and they're showing up here to send one message, and that is a message of unity. This government thinks this is just white people, just a few black people. There are people here who are united from the hills, from the mountains, from the valleys, and the message is one message, and that is that we want the Second Amendment to remain intact. You have a lot of people who are carrying guns. There's not a shot that's been fired. These are civil people. These are citizens of Virginia. These are citizens of the United States, and we want that message to go out that the governor simply cannot blanket or cannot put in one blanket what he feels happened in Charlottesville somehow is going to transcend to Virginia.
Yeah, it turns out, funny thing, I mean, who would have thunk it? It turns out that law-abiding gun owners are law-abiding.
Well, and Governor Ralph Northam declared a state of emergency ahead of the event, and then he banned any weapons from the state capitol. So a lot of the protesters, Dan, were behind their, on the perimeter of the outside of the actual Capitol steps because they wanted to bring their guns, because it was a Second Amendment rally, and they got what they accomplished. But what?
Let's hear from another white supremacist. This is a black gentleman named Mark. He is from Northern Virginia.
So why did you think it was important to drive those 2.5 hours?
One, I love this country. It's about the Second Amendment. It's about our ability to defend ourselves and our loved ones. It's not only a constitutional right issue, but it's also a civil right issue. The governor, who's known for blackface and or possibly having a Klan's hood on, has the audacity on MLK Day to declare executive order that will prevent people from lawfully protesting. This has been a long-standing rally where people have come and they have protested, and then on top of that, to add insult to injury, he wanted to push forth the narrative that white supremacists are stirring up issues. I feel comfortable here, haven't had any issues here. I don't know what the problem is. So it for me, as an African American on MLK Day, is critically important that we preserve the ability to defend ourselves and our loved ones. And I will not allow anybody to push a narrative saying that there are racist people at these rallies.
Speaking of King, since so many were hand-wringing, how could they do this on Martin Luther King Day? Most people think King would be the last person to own a gun. This is a piece from Adam Winkler, who's a law professor at UCLA. Yet in the mid-1950s, as the civil rights movement heated up, King kept firearms for self-protection. In fact, he even applied for a permit to carry a concealed weapon. A recipient of constant death threats, King had armed supporters take turns guarding his home and family. He had good reason to fear that the Klan in Alabama was targeting him for assassination. And his forthcoming book, Gunfight, the professor notes that in 1956, after King's house was bombed, he applied for a concealed carry permit in Alabama. The local police had discretion to determine who was suitable to carry firearms. King, whose life was threatened daily, surely met the requirements of law, but he was rejected nevertheless, police using the wiggle room to deny King a right to carry, a concealed carry permit, because they were bigots and they didn't like him, and so they discriminated against him. So now the concealed carry permit that actually is present day law in Alabama, that was pushed by all those white liberals, by the media, no, by law-abiding gun owners and the NRA. So tell me again about civil rights and the rule of law thing. The prattling on for months on the rule of law, the invocation of the rule of law as it pertains to Trump's impeachment. But they're very narrow when they are when it comes to enforcing the rule of law, aren't the Democrats? Because you'll know two important Supreme Court decisions. Heller versus D.C. in 2008 that established the Second Amendment as an individual right. And then McDonald versus the city of Chicago in 2010. That's Otis McDonald from Chicago, who I knew before he passed away. Black gentleman. That established that individual right applies to at the state and local level, too, that state and local governments cannot violate that individual right as enshrined in Heller. So,
hence ending the 25-year gun ban in Chicago,
well,
which none of the gangbangers listen to.
It's doing a lot more than that. It's establishing that an individual right applies, but yes, it also did that. And so those two Supreme Court cases, that's the rule of law, isn't it? Or is it only the rule of law? Is the rule of law only applicable when it comports with the DNC platform? And when it doesn't, then you just discard it, as the effort was made yesterday. In addition to that, I was interested to hear from Heather Heyer's mother with all of this comparison to Charlottesville. It's funny when the D.C. Press Corps tries to establish some sort of institutional knowledge as it comes to their reporting. Mm-hmm. Even when they try to do it, it's just gaslighting. It's not real institutional knowledge. Why the immediate comparison to Charlottesville? Because both events happened in Virginia? This was never a white supremacist event. There was no tolerance of white supremacists, nor much of presence, as far as I could tell.
No, and some neo-Nazi group got arrested the week before because the FBI had heard rumblings that they were going to be, provocateurs at the rally, and they were arrested, as they should have been.
So
Heather Heyer was killed in Charlottesville.
Yeah, the mom of the woman who was tragically murdered in Charlottesville, she went on CNN. She had this to say.
I grew up around everybody owning guns. That was just a normal part of existence. And yes, I'm a gun owner. I believe in common sense gun measures, definitely, but not extreme measures. And I think that those need to be discussed. I think people need to be able to talk to their representative.
She exercised the judiciousness that few in the Beltway big government media did. She distinguished between hate groups and law-abiding gun owners exercising another right, their right to petition their government, their right to peacefully protest. And she thinks they should get a fair hearing and be able to speak to their legislators about these measures that have been advanced. Because if you sort of read between the lines, she's not on board with some of the things that KKK Northam is advancing.
And one thing that he was, there's a few bills going through their state legislature right now, is one purchase of a gun, just one a month.
Tom in Deer Park.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and great coverage on this subject. To your point earlier that the media seemed to be disappointed, I really would agree with that. Follow this thing like a hawk and watch the coverage that the two reporters from NBC putting out ridiculous tweets, false videos, and putting their name to it. And there was a huge sense of disappointment that something didn't occur, either in the realm of violence or racial animosity. And by the end of the day, they had nothing left but to go to the usual intersectionality tropes in our own Rex Hupke, saying this is about insecure white men, carrying Barretts around. They had nothing left by the end of the day. So excellent coverage. Thank you, Dan and Amy.
Thank
you, Tom. It was NBC's Ben Collins, and what he did was, he deleted the tweet. Oh, that'll make it go away. Sure. Another person, I don't know if you want to hear from her, and if not, we'll stop this, but AOC used this moment to lash out at police because when she was watching video, Dan, of the Second Amendment rally, she didn't see enough police officers, and that's racist.
When we go out and march for the dignity and the recognition of the lives of people like Freddie Gray and Eric Garner. The whole place is surrounded by police in riot gear without a gun in sight. And here are all of these people flying Confederate flags with semi-automatic weapons. And there's almost no police officers at that protest. So who or what are our institutions protecting from who? And that image conveys it all. Conveys it all.
I'm going to take you.
Well, two things on that. First, it is a disgrace to have AOC at any MLK event. This was the Blackout for Human Rights 5th annual MLK Now event, which is, goofballs talking to goofballs. Secondly, it's a great question she asks, but unintentionally. Who are they protecting from who? Why no police presence there, or limited police presence? Let's see. Let me see if I can figure this out.
Take your time, Dan.
So why wouldn't there be as much police presence when law-abiding gun owners get together?
Because they're law-abiding gun owners.
As there is when rabble-rousers like Antifa and by the way, Antifa, which disrupted a MLK event in Denver. Why would there be more police presence there for AOC and her friends and Antifa and Black Lives Matter? Golly, AOC. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you a little bit of a timeout. You go have a seat. You think about the answer to the question that you asked. Why less police presence for law-abiding protesters than for me and my friends? Golly, what could the answer be?
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Attorney Stephen Leahy, host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard right here on AM 560 every Sunday evening at 5 o'clock. Let me tell you about Bill. Bill's business slowed down and he fell behind on his taxes. Instead of filing his tax return, he decided to wait until he could pay. Well, 1 year turned to 2, turned to 3. Then the IRS threatened to contact his customers, take his house, his bank account, and his passport. Well, Bill hired me. We filed all of his tax returns and an appeal to slow the IRS down. Then we worked out an installment agreement based on how much he could pay, not on how much he owed. Now Bill can rely on the IRS protection plan. We will file his future tax returns and keep the IRS off his back so Bill can focus on growing his business. If you have questions about the IRS, you can get a copy of my book, Deal with Your IRS Problem Today, to learn the secrets of solving your IRS problem and save your business, your marriage, and your reputation. Call 312-664-6649 or go to freeirsbook.com.
Hi, I'm Dave Nissen, Managing Partner at Mueller CPA. For over 50 years, we have been honored to offer accounting, business, and financial advisory services to our valued clients. We also provide guidance to our clients to help them manage their success and wealth they have earned. We do that by offering retirement and investment planning, estate planning, business planning, and insurance. Whether you are a business owner interested in investment strategies or business succession, or a young professional wondering what you need to do today to be financially prepared for tomorrow, it is never too late or early to start. Our team of dedicated professionals are passionate about helping you pursue your goals by educating and inspiring you to make wise financial decisions for yourself, your family, and your business. If you're interested in learning more, call me direct at 630-524-5274 or visit our website at MuellerCPA.com. That's MuellerCPA.com.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com.
10, 15, 20, 30-year term, whole life, universal life, index universal life, variable universal life, long-term care. Are you confused yet? No need to be. For nearly 3 decades, Northern Resource Group has assisted families and businesses understand the maze of insurance and safe money choices. Then, after careful analysis of your needs, they shop and search every leading company to find the best products and services for your family or business. Whether it's tax advantage policies, living benefits, simple term insurance, or something else, Northern Resource Group excels in selection, underwriting, and service. Call Chicagoland-based Northern Resource Group to receive your free, valuable, all-life report It's packed with educational and easy-to-understand information. Call toll-free 888-762-8020 or visit northernresourcegroup.com. Northern Resource Group, Chicagoland's insurance and safe money professionals. That's 888-762-8020 or online at northernresourcegroup.com. Again, that number, 888-762-8020. Are you plagued by persistent floaters in your vision? Floaters are the moving cobwebs, strands, or veils seen when you look at a computer screen or a light color background. They range in size and shape from tiny dots to large veils and vary in severity from a minor annoyance to a substantial visual impairment. There is now a safe and effective treatment to eliminate persistent visual floaters called YAG vitriolysis. It's covered by most health insurance companies. Very few eye surgeons perform this procedure. Dr. Harry Bernstein of the Elgin Eye Clinic is an expert in evaluating and treating eye floaters with a laser specifically designed to eliminate floaters. This brief and painless procedure is performed right in the office. If you're bothered by significant floaters, call Dr. Bernstein now to schedule a free floater evaluation. Call 636-535-2020. That's 636-535-2020 or schedule online at elgineye.com. That's Elgin, E-Y-E, elgineye.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, we have big news about our upcoming trip with Apple Vacations to Huatulco, Mexico. The deadline to purchase your trip has been extended a couple of extra weeks, so if you've been on the fence, now's the time to pull the trigger and join us at the Secrets Huatulco Resort and Spa in beautiful Huatulco, Mexico, March 28th through April 4th, Saturday to Saturday. It's all inclusive. What I love about this hotel is every room has an ocean view. 7 gourmet restaurants, 6 bars, and the cheeseburgers they serve on the beach are to die for. So get on this, get more information, and book your trip by visiting 560theanswer.com/passport. And the price that Apple Vacations has secured for this trip is really an incredible and exclusive to us, but it's only available until February 10th. So don't miss out. Sign up now, 560theanswer.com/passport. Really, all you have to pay for is just to get your butt to the airport, and we'll take care of everything from there.
Getting back to that Richmond Second Amendment rally yesterday. Of course, David Hogg. You'll remember him, right? He's at Harvard now, the Parkland High School student who became a gun control advocate. VA, Virginia, is in a state of emergency because white supremacists and Nazis are using their Second Amendment rights to shut down the First Amendment rights of students, veterans, and clergy.
I didn't see one Nazi flag, did you? I didn't see one Confederate flag.
I'm sorry, what? The First Amendment rights of
Just
students...
trying to be important, Dan.
The First Amendment rights of students, veterans, and clergy. Was anybody prevented from speaking yesterday?
I didn't know if anyone even spoke yesterday.
No, I mean,
It's just a rally.
interacting.
Yeah.
How are some people speaking, preventing other people from speaking? See, David, if you take a con law class at Harvard, well, maybe this won't happen, but it should happen. You'll find out that the Bill of Rights contains these rights that are restraints on government such that everyone can enjoy them equally without imposing a responsibility on anyone to provide that right for someone else.
Okay.
So my speaking my mind in no way impinges on you speaking yours. You see how that works, David? Yeah. State of emergency because white supremacists and Nazis are using their Second Amendment rights to shut down the First Amendment rights of students, veterans, and clergy. This is not about self-defense. It's about the enforcement of white supremacy. That's what David Hogg had to say. There's some the actual attendees to the rally who don't fit the description that David Hogg is offering, the caricature, really. They noticed something that was rather ironic. There's a fence around the building limiting the number of people who could go in.
Right.
The legislature and the governor's mansion. No weapons are allowed, even though Virginia is an open carry state. So this is one time where Democrats support a fence that keeps people out, I guess.
Oh, I see what you did there. Yeah.
It's just worth noting.
Yeah, there was a lot of fencing around, and a lot of them wouldn't cross the fence because they would say, I can't carry a gun there because of this state of emergency order that was filed.
Well, it's just...
And so I'm going to stand out here.
You just love when the left's talking points run into the reality, including the reality that they would like to live when pressed to make that decision. And that's what happened yesterday, as it happens over and over and over again. Also, it's worth noting the videos that were online of those rally goers picking up their trash, leaving the grounds on which they rallied in the same shape that they found them when they arrived. Imagine that.
That never happens.
Imagine that. Compare that to an Earth Day rally.
Oh, that Earth Day rally near Hyde Park, I was appalled. There, every single trash can was overflowing, and there was trash and garbage everywhere. Made me sick. What was the point of having the rally if you're only going to hurt Mother Earth rather than help it?
The irony is lost on the hypocrites. Yes.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Joe Biden is one of the subjects of Peter Schweitzer's new book profiling the corruption of progressive elites. It's not just Hunter Biden that's been part of get-rich-quick schemes leveraging Joe's stature. We'll discuss at 6:06.
And I don't know if you saw it, but Joe Biden's elevator endorsement. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
A far south side church destroyed by fire. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
It's disgraceful. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump also called his impeachment a hoax. But he's nowhere near the Senate, where his trial will resume today. The president's in Switzerland.
The United States is in the midst of an economic boom, the likes of which the world has never seen before.
He's at the World Economic Forum. Fox's Simon Owen has more live.
Dave, President Trump addressing the annual meeting of the world's rich and powerful at Davos in the Swiss Alps.
America is thriving. America is flourishing. And yes, America is winning again like never before.
Seeking to sell the U.S. to the global business community, the president claiming the American economy was in, quote, a rather dismal state when he took office. He praised recent trade deals with China, plus Canada and Mexico.
These agreements represent a new model of trade for the 21st century, agreements that are fair, reciprocal.
He says further talks with China will start very shortly. Dave?
Simon back in Washington.
We're providing the insight into the sham that was the House process and actually how bad these two articles of impeachment and flimsy they actually are.
Congressman Doug Collins, one of 8 House Republicans added to the president's legal team as the trial resumes today.
It is now certain that Leader McConnell is going along with President Trump's cover-up, hook, line, and sinker.
Democratic Senate Leader Chuck Schumer unhappy with the plan, giving each side 2 days to deliver 24 hours of arguments.
Proposal that could mean lengthy trial sessions lasting well into the night if that full time is used. Several hours could be spent this afternoon with the House managers and president's legal team debating time restrictions and motions to call witnesses.
Fox's Jared Halpern. Democrats want to try to alter the plan to proceed. The articles of impeachment accuse President Trump of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress in the Ukraine controversy. America's listening to Fox News.
15 degrees, 6:02 is our time on AM 560, The Answer, and good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. Health officials are investigating 3 cases of Legionnaire's disease, all reported at a retirement community in Carroll Stream. All the cases have happened since May of last year at the Windsor Park retirement community. A Joliet police officer is free on bond after being charged in a crash on I-55 near Plainfield that killed a Berwyn police officer. Officer Aaron Zulka is facing a misdemeanor count of driving under the influence. Meantime, an intoxicated driver who caused the initial crash that led to the death of the off-duty Berwyn police officer has also been charged. Rodrigo Marin of Plainfield is believed to, again, have caused that initial crash, is charged with 2 counts of aggravated driving under the influence and many other charges, including leaving the scene of an accident, having no valid insurance, or driving with a revoked license. The Illinois State Board of Elections is admitting that some non-U.S. citizens may have voted illegally in 2018. Officials say nearly 575 non-U.S. citizens were inadvertently registered to vote in Illinois in and around the Chicago area. Church is destroyed following a fire on the south side. Beacon Light Ministries building went up in flames near Michigan and 111th yesterday, where Pastor Jerome Powell watched.
You're at a standstill right now, so we're holding on to each other, showing love.
Cause of that fire remains under investigation. Oakbrook Terrace Mayor Tony Rigucci stepping down as he faces an ongoing federal corruption investigation. Rigucci submitted his resignation on Friday. The same day, the Tribune reported he'd recently paid $30,000 in campaign funds to a lawyer representing him. Blackhawks take on Florida and former head coach Joe Quenneville tonight. Giannis put up a triple-double for the Bucks in a win over the Bulls, 111-98. Illinois takes on Purdue later on tonight. The news service of Ruby Tuesday. Fajitas are back at Ruby Tuesday. Stop in for a fresh grilled veggie, shrimp, or chicken fajita for only $7.99. Great flavors at a great price. Only for a limited time and only at Ruby Tuesday. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
There's no better way to celebrate the great state of our union than to sit down to a finely prepared meal, pour yourself a nice bubbly beverage, and get together with all your rowdy friends. Yeah, that's just what we're doing on Tuesday, February 4th. Join us for our State of the Union viewing party, presented by healthinsurancementors.com. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/taste. Sponsored in part by Celaven Age-Defying Skincare.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So, what do you provide? Cookie-cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie-cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Networks of the future are here now. Game-changing serverless networks with technology that's finally ready for prime time. Turnkey IT is ready to set up your business, increase productivity, save you money, and a lot of headaches. Imagine not having to purchase or maintain a local server in your building and continue using all the tools you rely on with Microsoft 365. Everything is in one place on the Office 365 cloud platform, with all files and folders stored, backed up, and ready to be shared securely within your organization. Can your business go serverless? Turnkey IT can get you started with a free 5-point assessment to determine if your business qualifies, and it only takes about 2 minutes. Visit turnkey.pro today to speak with one of their team members to find out more and join the growing number of companies using the Microsoft 365 platform now.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
When cold and flu symptoms keep you from sleeping, you wake up feeling like a zombie.
Morning, Pam.
New Mucinex Night Shift fights your worst cold and flu symptoms like coughing, sneezing, and congestion, so you can sleep great and wake up feeling like a human. New Mucinex Night Shift for nighttime cold and flu relief. Get relief with super fast delivery.
6:07, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Jim Telemonte.
In southwest suburban Willow Springs, Archer Avenue remains closed between 83 and Willow Springs Road due to flooding. Seeing delays on eastbound I-80 Cherry Hill Road before Gauger. Crash in that area. Edens looks good. Products building on the inbound Kennedy. 21 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Out on 24. Heavy Harlem to Cumberland. Inbound Eisenhower traffic slow through the avenues. Then approaching downtown. 31 minutes. 390 Burnt Circle. Outbound clear sailing 28. Down Stevenson at Stop and Go Central to Pulaski. 36 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan 18 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57 is good. Bishop Ford, in about 16 minutes, 80-94 to the Verge. Toys are good, Northwest Indiana as well. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, and your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Sunshine today, the high at 29. It'll be partly cloudy tonight, low 20. Clouds increasing tomorrow, the high 35. Cloudy with rain or snow on Thursday, the high at 35. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
16 at O'Hare, 7 this morning in Aurora. Your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Joe Biden is the weak, but nonetheless front runner in the early states. Although it's a dead heat in New Hampshire, it's basically a dead heat in Iowa too. But he's the early front runner. National polling, he's still the titular front runner, and this is another reason why I would suggest Joe Biden is the weakest opponent that President Trump could face. Peter Schweitzer, the author of Clinton Cash, the author of Secret Empires, has a new book, Profiles in Corruption, Abuse of Power by America's Progressive Elite.
And I'm sure we'll have him on the show soon.
That is, and we are endeavoring on that. And he released an excerpt of his book over the weekend in the New York Post, which focuses on one Joe Biden and family. It's not just Hunter. There are 5 Bidens. The Biden family's apparent self-enrichment involves 5 family members. Joe's son, Hunter.
Okay, I got him writing this down.
Son-in-law, Howard. Brothers, James and Frank, and sister, Valerie.
Oh, so his siblings are in on this.
And what you find, as we'll summarize a couple of these examples, is it's the same MO as the Hunter deal. It's Joe Biden becomes the point man in a particular place, and then the family seizes on overseas business opportunities, leveraging mainly Joe's position as vice president, but also his position as a U.S. senator, mainly vice president, though. Wherever Joe goes, and he's the point man on policy, he's the ambassador for the country, de facto ambassador for the country to this particular country or particular region, a Biden family member is sure to follow and try to exploit the relationship for personal gain.
And excuse my ignorance, but I had no idea he had siblings.
Yeah.
And let alone that they were making money off of his position of power.
Well, this is going to be illuminating for a lot of people. Just like Clinton Cash was in 2016.
That was a great book.
I mean, the parallels between 2016 and 2020 continue to mount. So just understand. So Hunter Biden, Burisma, Hunter Biden, Rosemont, Seneca Partners, and the Chinese infusion of cash and that private equity concern, right? And Joe's point man for Ukraine, point man for China. This repeats itself over and over and over again. James Biden, his younger brother, served as finance chair of Joe's 1972 campaign. After Joe joined the U.S. Senate, he would bring his brother James along on congressional delegation trips to places like Ireland, Rome, Africa. He was welcomed at the White House. He secured invitations to important functions, such as a state dinner in 2011, the visit of Pope Francis in 2015. Sometimes James's White House visits dovetail with his overseas business dealings, and his commercial opportunities flourished during his brother's tenure as vice president. Let me introduce you to Hillstone International, which is the subsidiary of a huge construction management firm. The president of this firm is a gentleman named Kevin Justice, who grew up in Delaware, longtime Biden family friend. On November 4th of 2010, Justice, the president of this company, visited the White House, met with Biden advisor Michelle Smith. 3 weeks later, Hillstone announces that James Biden, Joe's brother, would be joining the firm as an executive vice president.
Oh, there you go.
The firm is Construction firm.
And James appeared to have no or little background in housing construction. It's kind of a big deal.
Sound familiar?
Did he even take, industrial arts in high school?
Well, this is, again, like Hunter Biden's experience in the energy sector, which is to say none. James Biden was joining the firm, Hillstone, just as the firm was starting negotiations to win a massive contract in Iraq.
Oh, here we go. How much? Millions, billions of dollars?
6 months later, the firm announced a contract to build 100,000 homes. It was part of a $35 billion, 500,000 unit project deal won by a South Korean company. So they were part of it.
Right.
Hillstone also received $22 million in U.S. federal government, $22 million U.S. federal government contract to manage a construction project for the State Department.
Oh, there you go.
All after James Biden was named the EVP at Hillstone. David Richter, the son of the parent company's founder, not shy in explaining Hillstone's success in securing government contracts. It really helps, he told investors at a private meeting, to have, quote, the brother of the vice president as a partner, unquote. The Iraq project was massive. In 2012, Charlie Gasparino at Fox Business reported that Hillstone officials expected the project to generate $1.5 billion in revenues over the subsequent 3 years. That amounted to more than 3 times the revenue the company had produced the year prior. A group of minority partners, including James Biden, stood to split about $735 million. Hillstone apparently made some sort of error in the execution, and they were forced to back out of the contract in 2013. But they still continue to do significant contract work in Iraq, including a 6-year contract with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Hunter Biden. Let's go back to Hunter. It's not just Burisma and Rosemont. Burnham Financial.
What's that?
Burnham Financial was a company that Hunter Biden was a part of with his business partner, Devin Archer, who is also a partner in Rosemont Seneca Partners. It became the vehicle for a number of deals abroad involving connected oligarchs in Kazakhstan and state-owned businesses in China. But one of the most troubling Burnham ventures was here in the United States, in which Burnham became the center of a federal investigation involving a $60 million fraud scheme against one of the poorest Indian tribes in America, the Oglala Sioux tribe. Devin Archer was arrested in 2016, charged with orchestrating a scheme to defraud investors and a Native American tribal entity of tens of millions of dollars.
Scumbag.
Public and union pension plans lost money. 2 others were arrested.
Why wasn't Hunter Biden arrested?
He was not arrested. All of the 3 that were arrested were all convicted. Devin Archer later had his conviction overturned, but the other 2 did not have their convictions overturned. This isn't to say, though, that Hunter wasn't involved. Apparently, perhaps he didn't have guilty knowledge. Okay, fine. Tim Anderson, a lawyer who did legal work on the insurance of the tribal bonds, recounts seeing Hunter while visiting Burnham offices in New York City to meet with one of the other principals later convicted of fraud. The political ties that Biden and Archer had were considered the key to the Burnham brand, Biden and Devin Archer. In an August 2014 email, another one of the individuals convicted in the fraud agreed with an associate who thought the company had, quote unquote, value beyond capital because of their political connections. How about the other brother, Frank? In late March of 2009, Vice President Joe Biden landed in Costa Rica, went to the Costa Rican presidential palace for a one-on-one with President Oscar Arias, which was an important trip. The last time an American official had visited the country, high-ranking, was in 1997 when Bill Clinton came.
That's a long time.
Joe Biden's trip to Costa Rica came at a fortuitous time for brother Frank, writes Peter Schweitzer, who is busy working deals in the country. Just months after Vice President Biden's visit in August, Costa Rica, here we go again.
He came?
Costa Rica News announced a new multilateral partnership to reform real estate in Latin America.
Okay. And who was one of the developers? Let me guess. Frank Biden.
You got it.
Hey!
With another developer. And the Crown Jewel was a newly planned resort which apparently was Frank's dream to build thousands of homes, a world-class golf course, casinos, and an anti-aging center.
Yeah. You know what they're giving out there? The little blue pill. Sorry, excuse me.
The Costa Rican government was eager to cooperate with the vice president's brother. Again, Joe Biden had been asked by President Obama to be the administration's point man in Latin America and the Caribbean. The Caribbean. And it continues. It continues. In June of 2014, Vice President Biden announced the launch of the Caribbean Energy Security Initiative, increasing access to financing for Caribbean energy projects he supported. American taxpayer dollars were dedicated to facilitating deals that match U.S. government financing with local projects in Caribbean countries, including Jamaica. In 2015, USAID, International Development Funds, taxpayer funds, announced it would spend $10 million to boost renewable energy projects in Jamaica over the next 5 years.
Why are we taking care of Jamaicans?
After that, Frank's firm, Sun Fund Americas, announced it was engaged in projects and in negotiations with governments of other countries in the Caribbean for both its solar and waste-to-energy development services. The Obama administration's another international development government agency provided $47.5 million in loan supports to the construction of a 20-megawatt solar facility in Jamaica. Frank Biden's Sun Fund Americas later announced that it had signed a power purchase agreement to build a 20-megawatt solar facility in Jamaica.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes on and on and on. So, and I haven't even gotten to
the sister who ran all of his Senate campaigns as well as his presidential runs in 1988 and 2008.
Well, so right. So that's just political consulting.
Yeah.
And so that's different. This is taxpayer dollars, and this is leveraging government for self-enrichment. Having your kid work on your campaign and pay him out of funds raised, fine, whatever.
But she got $2.5. I mean, her firm got $2.5 million in consulting fees.
Yeah,
$2.5 million.
But we haven't even gotten yet to his son-in-law, married to his daughter Ashley. This is a Dr. Howard Crean, and this startup health venture that Joe Biden facilitated as well. This guy, it's a venture in the healthcare space, and this guy, gets wired into meetings at the White House, and ultimately, again, political and public support to launch this startup health venture. Joe in Villa Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
If this couldn't be any more clearer, compare and contrast Biden's kids and family with Trump's. Trump's kids learned the business from the ground up, running bulldozers on construction sites. What a stark difference.
Thanks for the call, Joe. By the way, this is interesting, too. A guy named Zephyr Teachout, which is, that's a fun name.
Zephyr Teachout.
Yeah, Zephyr Teachout. He's a Bernie Sanders supporter, and he penned this op-ed for The Guardian. Middle-class Joe Biden has a corruption problem. It makes him a weak candidate. Bernie Sanders apologized for this op-ed. So I don't think Joe Biden's corrupt because this is a surrogate for Sanders.
Oh, yeah.
But let me tell you something. Here we go again. This is also going to depress turnout if Joe Biden is the nominee because you're going to have people in
Bernie's camp. They're not going to vote for him.
Yeah, Gulag Bernie and Warren and some of the others that just don't want the rerun of Hillary Clinton. And this story that Peter Schweitzer is unfurling, I think, is going to be rather devastating to Biden. David and McCook.
Good morning, guys. I hope Biden does get the nomination because it'll be quite entertaining to watch him hyperventilate when Trump comes after him. You notice how huffy he gets when anyone challenges him on his dirty dealings?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks for the call, David.
And he wants to take it outside and then all of a sudden, or maybe just do push-ups or go to the gym and let's see how much you can bench.
Yeah, this stuff isn't going to go away. You can say it's part of the vast right-wing conspiracy all you want, but the details are the details. The deals are the deals. He's ultimately going to be called on the carpet to answer for the specifics that are provided by Peter Schweitzer in the same way that Hillary Clinton Inc. were called to answer repeatedly. So we go from Clinton Inc. to Biden Inc. You really think that's where the Democrat socialists are right now? maybe a narrow plurality in context, but certainly not a majority. Craig in Mount Greenwood.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. Listen, I've been saying for a long time there's a reason why all these politicians leave politics and at the end of their careers. Millionaires, billionaires are better and everything. That all their family members, wives, brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews, they get them in all these kind of businesses and everything that are all tied to government crap that they take, and they give away our jobs and all kinds of things to foreign countries and everything that, where somehow in regulations too, it's all dealing with regulations where they create businesses and everything, where all our money goes to these people, fill up their pockets. They're corrupt through and through.
Thanks for the call, Craig. I mean, what's that word that AOC likes to use? No, what's that word? Emoluments? Can you say emoluments, AOC?
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare contracts, and in the process started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. I guarantee if we can't cancel your timeshare contract, you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-290-7100. That's 800-290-7100. 800-290-7100.
I'm doing it right now, taking my Balance of Nature, have a glass of hot water and put 3 fruit capsules in, and it soothes your throat. It helps boost your immune system because the best way to boost your immune system is to eat healthy, and that means getting enough fruits and veggies, which I know we are not doing on our own. And that's where Balance of Nature comes in. Just 6 capsules a day, 3 in the morning, 3 at night. You're getting 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies. And it's so important right now because, folks, it's only January, and the number of people with colds or flu is skyrocketing. So do something healthy for yourself and take charge of your health. Make 2020 a year of better health. And right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off any new preferred order of fruits and veggies. So start your journey to better health today by calling 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or simply go to balanceofnature.com. Discount code Chicago.
I have cabin fever already. Chicago weather is so unpredictable, and it could be months before we get outside for a little warm sunshine.
What about using the sunroom? We can sweep out the cobwebs. I can patch up the glass with duct tape. Get that raccoon out.
No. We need a complete overhaul of the sunroom. I'm calling Sunspace by Arborview.
Rediscover your dream sunroom. That existing sunroom or screened-in porch that's been neglected or used for storage can be a beautiful living space waiting to come alive. It just needs TLC from the sunroom experts at Sunspace by Arborview. Convert your screened-in porch into a 3-season room or turn an old, outdated porch into a fresh new retreat free of bad weather, bugs, dust, and dirt. Sunspace by Arborview can do it all. Walls, WeatherMaster windows, doors, and decking, all using Sunspace products. They'll even collaborate with your new home builder. You could be waiting a long time for a warm-up. Update or convert your pre-existing screened-in porch now. Visit sunspacebyarborview.net. sunspacebyarborview.net.
Get ready for the Rocket Mortgage Super Bowl Squares Sweepstakes, the largest official game of Super Bowl Squares ever, with millions of dollars in prizes. And best of all, it's free to enter. Every score change during Super Bowl 54 pays out $50,000. That's right, touchdowns, field goals, safeties, even extra points. We'll draw one lucky winner from the corresponding square to win $50,000. It could be you! Plus, 2 grand prize winners will win $500,000 they could use toward their dream home. One way to enter, 2 ways to win. See rules and enter now at RocketMortgageSquares.com. Then tune in February 2nd to see if you win. Rocket Mortgage, official mortgage sponsor of Super Bowl 54.
No purchase necessary. 18 years or older except Alabama, Nebraska, and Mississippi. Ends January 30th. Licensed all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. The NFL is not sponsored promotion in any way.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy talking about Biden Inc., profiled in the new Peter Schweitzer book. Jim in Naperville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, Dan and Amy. You know what? Who is going to go to jail over this? I don't think a single soul is. Look at this useless DOJ. You know, I could be a Missourian and say, show me. I could be an Illinoisan and just throw my arms up and like I am and say, no one is, you know? Or else, Bill Barr, Durham, show me. You know, unless somebody goes to jail, until someone goes to jail, other than I think Dugan went for Clinton, you know, and she kept her mouth shut. She swallowed one because otherwise she's going to be die of Arkansas. And then now we're going to have a new term, Biden-side, you know, for whoever shows up in jail.
Arkansas. All right. Thanks for the call, Jim. Dave in Racine, Wisconsin.
Good morning. Just another case of leftist transference. You know, it seems that the left will always do what they accuse the right of doing. Remember how they accused Dick Cheney and his former company Halliburton of all kinds of shenanigans, and it seems that the Bidens and his little corrupt family are doing exactly what they accused Cheney of doing.
Thanks for the call, Dave.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to our friend CNBC contributor Jim Urio about Trump's remarks in Davos this morning. That's at 6:36.
And later, a man kills a coyote with his own bare hands. We'll tell you why it had to happen. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
15 degrees. The public gets a look today at the man accused of terrorizing South Florida for years. Robert Kohler will appear in a Brevard County courtroom after his arrest this weekend for a series of rapes. In the 1980s, he was known as the pillowcase rapist. While President Trump is in Davos for the World Economic Forum today, his Senate impeachment trial is about to get fully underway in Washington, but the president is still paying attention.
It's just a hoax. It's the witch hunt that's been going on for years, and it's disgraceful.
Majority Leader Mitch McConnell announcing proposed rules Monday night. The minority leader in the Senate slamming those rules.
It is now certain that Leader McConnell is going along with President Trump's cover-up, hook, line, and sinker.
That's Chuck Schumer. In other news this morning, a suspect under arrest connected to the deadly bar shooting at San Antonio's Riverwalk. While he was being taken into custody last night, Kiernan Williams told reporters he simply was acting in self-defense.
He told me he was going to kill me.
Why?
Who told you? Why? He told me because I bumped into him, he was going to kill me. So what? Don't worry about me. I'm going to be all right.
Police say the 19-year-old will be charged with capital murder. Virginia Democrats praising local and federal law enforcement for keeping the peace at Monday's gun rights rally, despite unfounded worries about possible violence. Around 25,000 gathered peacefully in and around the Capitol, protesting proposed new anti-gun regulations that state lawmakers there are considering. Stock futures pointing to a higher open when trading begins this morning. We'll keep our eyes on that. Face masks are selling out. Temperature checks at airports mandatory as China tries to control the new outbreak of coronavirus that has reached 4 other countries. Dr. John Torres says the biggest concern right now is how fast that virus can spread.
Once it starts spreading from person to person, it's really hard to keep people quarantined and keep them away from their loved ones. It's hard to keep healthcare workers away from helping patients out.
6 have died, 291 have been infected. Health officials here are investigating 3 cases of Legionnaire's disease reported at a retirement community in west suburban Carroll Stream. A Joliet police officer is free on bond after being charged in a crash on I-55 near Plainfield that killed a Berwyn police officer. A church destroyed in fire on Chicago's far south side near Michigan Avenue and 111th Street. The cause of that fire is under investigation. Chicago sports. Blackhawks will host the Florida Panthers and former head coach Joe Quenneville tonight. Bucks beat the Bulls 111-98 in Milwaukee. Illinois takes on Purdue last night. It's a big one in the Big Ten. The news, a service of new Mucinex Night Shift. New Mucinex Night Shift fights your worst cold and flu symptoms like coughing, sneezing, and congestion. so you can sleep great and wake up feeling like a human. New Mucinex Night Shift for nighttime cold and flu relief. Get relief with super-fast delivery. 6:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
There's no better way to celebrate the great state of our union than to sit down to a finely prepared meal, pour yourself a nice bubbly beverage, and get together with all your rowdy friends. Yeah, that's just what we're doing on Tuesday, February 4th. Join us for our State of the Union viewing party, presented by healthinsurancementors.com. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/taste. Sponsored in part by Saint-Levin Age-Defying Skincare.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I'm a holistic kind of guy, my whole life. And I just felt like you're supposed to hurt. You're supposed to ache. You're supposed to feel like, you're getting old. But that's not the case. I don't feel that way anymore. It's been because of this product. And the biggest thing is I don't get up to go to the bathroom like I did before. I seem to get a better night's sleep. I really do. I just think, this Balance of Nature just took it to the next level.
Don't wait to see what getting over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can do for you. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order of fruits and veggies. Start your journey to better health today by calling 1-800-2468-751 or by going to balanceofnature.com and make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
When it's cold outside, you can dress for it. But when your furnace gives out, hey, a blanket fort can only do so much. So call your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. We'll replace your old furnace with a new high-efficiency one. And that beats a bunch of blankets any day. Right now, cozy up to big savings on a complete heating system. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
When fans talk about their team, they're always real about it. Really happy after a win, really bummed after a loss, and really excited about the next big game. Let us help make it real for you, right here on the Husky Sports Network.
The Huskies take on the Kent State Golden Flashes tonight at 6. NIU basketball is on AM 560. The Answer. Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, and your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com.
It is 6:36 in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center. Jim Talamonte.
In Skokie, Niles Center Road is closed. Howard Jarvis due to a fire on Fargo Avenue. Willow Springs, Archer still flooded in 83 at Willow Springs Road. Got a traffic jam on northbound Lakeshore Drive. This is from 31st to 18th Drive. It's a collision blocking 2 left lanes. Down Edens, Little Tight Foster to the junction. Inbound Kennedy, looking at about 27 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 24. Inbound Eisenhower, 38 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 31. Inbound Stevenson, looking at heavy traffic starting around Harlem. It's 44 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 20 minutes from 95th. I-57 Little Tight approaching the Merge Bishop Ford. A 5-minute delay starting at Stony Island. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Sunny and 29 today, partly cloudy and 20 overnight, currently 16. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, and your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, as the Senate impeachment trial gets underway this afternoon, President Trump finds himself in Davos for the World Economic Forum. And he spoke this morning had talked nothing about impeachment, talked a lot about the economy, including the blue-collar boom that has occurred during his presidency.
This is a blue-collar boom. Since my election, the net worth of the bottom half of wage earners has increased by plus 47%, 3 times faster than the increase for the top 1%. Real median household income is at the highest level ever recorded. The American dream is back, bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. No one is benefiting more than America's middle class.
And he talked about the trade deals, of course. He talked about America moving to energy independence, so we're not reliant on hostile nations like, say Iran. And then, of course, the question about the environment. And he was asked if he had a message for young Greta, who is also at Davos, and
she'll be speaking later today.
Oh,
She's
yeah,
already spoken.
Yeah, we've got a copy of her speech. The New York Times was generous enough to print it. We'll get to what she had to say. Here's what Trump had to say.
So do you have a message for Greta Thunberg on finance?
Well, we're doing the 1 trillion trees together with lots of other people and lots of other countries, and I'm a very big believer in the environment. We right now are doing extremely well in the United States, but what I want is the cleanest water, the cleanest air, and that's what we're going to have, and that's what we have right now.
Because the theme today is about climate change, just in case you were wondering.
And Greta's response is going to be 10 minutes of shame on you. So you can look forward to that. I mean,
I can't wait to hear her.
Actually, it's even more insulting than that. From her speech, our house is on fire. Your inaction is fueling the flames by the hour. We are still telling you to panic and to act as if you loved your children above all else.
How dare you?
Presumptuous. Hey, why don't you act like you like your kids? You're grounded. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Jim Urio, CNBC contributor. Jim, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Well, let's start with what Trump had to say about the blue-collar boom and the data point that he relayed to support his case.
It's true. Every study I've seen says that the wage increases have been at the lower end. Something that amazes me about this as well, too, is that all the economist friends that I have, we talk about wages having stagnated at the lower end for a number of years. And to put something in perspective that they never consider, about service jobs, cash jobs, just in the restaurant industry itself, in 1970, $42 billion a year was spent in the restaurant industry. Last year, almost $900 billion was spent in the restaurant industry. My point here is that
how much of that went to Brandt's?
Half of it goes to Brandt's.
Half
of it to Brandt's.
You know
they're going to talk about restaurants at some point in time, so we might as well get it out of the way. It's Brandt's and Palatine. But this is actually a valid point. What I'm saying is there's been this huge increase in the number of cash-paying jobs. And I'm not suggesting for 1 second that anyone's going to stay off the rolls and not be counted. But just let's assume that maybe that is happening, and maybe wages in the service industry have been growing all along. And now, other types of low-end wages are growing as well, too. So I guess to put a fine point on it is that what Donald Trump says is absolutely correct. We are in the midst of a boom, and it's a boom being felt disproportionately by the lower end. What could be better?
And in addition to that, of course, Amy mentioned one of the thematics today is climate change, and you're going to hear from young Greta. I gave you a snippet of what she's going to have to say. And, forgetting Greta for a second, if we could, just the how corporate America gets buffaloed into these hysterics. It's one thing to be concerned about it and to be good stewards of resources and all of those things, to be efficient with the gifts that God has bestowed upon the planet. It's another thing to be forever calling for end days, and I just don't understand why so many C-suite executives genuflect before this hysteria.
Well, I think because if you criticize a 15-year-old girl, then all of a sudden you look terrible, and I think they're scared to death of doing that.
How about members of Congress that behave like 15-year-old girls?
Same. That's what they can't. That's when Donald Trump came out and criticized her. He was viewed as the devil. So the point here is that she's not just talking about climate change. She's talking about the evils of capitalism and how socialism should replace capitalism. So you have to understand that that's the theme behind this whole thing. Now, one thing that I will give her is that I believe that first stage capitalism and even libertarianism, it kind of presuppose an almost inexhaustible natural resources and climate. I don't think that second stage capitalism has to do that at all. I think that companies should care about their level of pollution and have to make it right regardless of what it is. And if products become a little more expensive because of that, I'm fine with it. But the ditch system and institute socialism, which has been an environmental disaster, the only good thing about the environment that socialism ever does, it eliminates the rat population in major urban areas. You get that joke, by the way? They become food. Okay, good. So that's the only thing that it possibly does. Other than that, socialism is an environmental disaster.
And I don't know if you heard AOC wants not only your money, but she wants your power. So if you're a billionaire, she thinks that they should come and get some of your money, but more importantly, we want your power.
Of course, and I don't know if you heard John Cusack's speech yesterday at the Bernie Sanders rally. Yeah, it was lovely, wasn't it? A real live revolution.
Yeah.
What an absolute idiot! And by the way, I love him as an actor. I think Hot Tub Time Machine was spectacular.
What about Hot Tub Time Machine 2?
You're a real cinemaphile there. Hot Tub Time Machine, Jim.
Oh my gosh, it was a classic. If you don't agree to that, maybe you just didn't get it. How about that?
Yeah.
No, I mean the things that they're saying is. It's terrifying. And it starts with billionaires too. But once they get the billionaires, then it becomes the multimillionaires, and then it goes down to everyone who has more than somebody else. Bernie Sanders yesterday talking about rent control being the answer to problems, of urban housing, and he knows full well that rent control makes rents go up by creating scarcity, and that happens in a relatively quick amount of time. And then all of a sudden, when he really messes up the housing situation, that's when the government can come in and and build those Beijing or St. Petersburg style tenements for everybody to live in, and then everyone has the same amount of nothing, and Bernie wins.
Well, here's the 2020 version of "You Didn't Build That." AOC saying, you didn't make those widgets. You sat on a couch while thousands of people were paid modern-day slave wages, and in some cases, real modern-day slavery. You made that money off the backs of undocumented people.
I don't. What are you even supposed to say to that?
I don't know. I really don't know. I was hoping you'd have something.
Right? No, I got nothing except that it's absolute nonsense. It's ridiculous when the only way that they can further their agenda is to try to convince people that these are the worst of times. Now, this is a really tall order considering these may very well be the best of times. When we have you look at things that the middle and lower class have compared to 100 years ago. I argue now that if someone makes let's say $100,000 a year, they are factually and on a relative basis more wealthy than John D. Rockefeller. Just the only way you're supposed to measure money is by what it can buy. That's the only equation. And think of what it can buy in terms of health care, of entertainment, in terms of communication. It blows it away. So they can say all they want that things are absolutely heading south, but they're just wrong, and it's not even debatable.
Well, I just have to say before I get to tariffs, it's pretty impressive range to go from Hot Tub Time Machine to paraphrasing Dickens. So
Thank
congratulations.
You.
That was
Thank you very
that
much.
was really something.
That wide range.
You got to turn your microphone on so people hear
Oh,
you.
I'm sorry. I thought you were mad I interrupted you. Excuse me.
Go
How has
ahead.
business been since Trump has taken office for you personally?
You mean business on the restaurant end?
Yes.
We think that the economic boom is helping us quite a bit. We have noticed that oil prices, when they went from $110 down to $40, we think that helped us quite a bit. This is going to sound like I'm patting myself on the back. We might not be the greatest example of what's working in that because we've had a really strong clientele and a loyal clientele the whole time. So we're basically at max capacity, the whole time anyway. Okay. But I think it definitely helps. I think a lot of people are talking about good things. Mostly what I take from this is you sit around the bar and you talk to people and everybody seems to be doing good. I think you have to work very hard right now to avoid getting a job and claim unemployment.
And how many slaves do you have working for you? I want to get to tariffs. There's a piece in the Wall Street Journal by the Wall Street Journal Ed Board talking about two new studies, economists at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, Princeton, and Columbia. Another study by economists at the Federal Reserve, University of Michigan, and the Census Bureau, finding that, look, you got these deals done. And yes, you've inflicted damage on China. But the bottom line is it's just an immutable law of economics that tax increases are passed on to the consumer. And that's what's happened with the tariffs that have been imposed. Tax increases have been passed on to American consumers. The average U.S. duty more than tripling from 1.6 to 5.4%. Foreign firms generally did not cut prices to compensate. Instead, approximately 100% of these import taxes have been passed on to U.S. importers and consumers, with the exception being steel imports. But even that is sort of a murky matter. So, the growth and the best of times, as you're describing, it's not because of the tariffs, it's in spite of them.
There's no question about that. And I do think the Federal Reserve made money easier because of the tariffs. Tariffs are a bad thing, and tariffs are anti-free trade. So I think we've talked about this before, too. The real critical people of Donald Trump and of Larry Kudlow are like, well, how can you call them free traders if they've instituted tariffs? If the tariffs, they believe, are a means to an end, they're a tool in this war, skirmish, whatever you want to call it, with China, and at the end of the day, everyone's going to drop their tariffs and declare free trade, then they were worth it. I mean, this trade war scared me from the beginning, because I always thought that China has far less to lose because they don't have to run for re-election, and we do here. I think that the best possible scenario has happened where it doesn't seem like it's affected us too bad. I was just going over crude demand with a crude trader last night. They were saying they really couldn't find any blips in demand from the trade war globally. And I think that that's a great thing, particularly if it leads to where we want to be. But are tariffs good? No, tariffs are awful, and they will definitely reverberate through the consumer.
He is Jim Iuorio. He is a CNBC contributor and also, I must say, the owner of Brandt's and Palatine, which
you need to bring us some
according
burgers.
to Jim, has the best burger in the Western Hemisphere.
Well, we'll
just
decide.
According to Jim, according to other people too.
Okay, according to all the Yelp reviews, best burger in the Western Hemisphere. No, we got.
Why don't we get any love over here?
We got a
Jim?
broadcast from there, so we can eat the burgers.
Well, it's 30 miles away from where you are, so they don't travel that great. But if you guys come out, it'll be fantastic. We'd have a good time.
All right, we're going to
You
work
will be
on
fine.
that. All right,
We have to do
Jim
that.
Iuorio, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The Lou Dobbs Financial Report is brought to you by Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs.
I'm Lou Dobbs. President Trump meeting with world leaders in Davos as the Senate opens its impeachment trial. J.C. Penney closing more stores by April. Those stories next. Let's talk about your 401k for a moment. If it's in the stock market, it's not necessarily safe. Remember the great financial crisis of 2008? Lou Dobbs here. Take a look at what the folks at Goldco have to say about protecting your 401k or IRA by adding physical gold and silver to it. Now, I'm not saying the world will end if you don't buy gold or silver, but I will tell you it's just common sense to diversify your retirement portfolio. Yes, the markets have been up and a lot of 401ks are doing very well, but the bubble could burst any day. Take steps now to keep your money safe. Get a free Gold IRA kit from Goldco by visiting goldirakit.com and filling out a simple form. There's no obligation. The folks at Goldco are trusted by major third-party consumer protection agencies, including TrustLink, the Better Business Bureau, Trustpilot, and more. Visit goldirakit.com or call them at 855-815-GOLD today. President Trump addressing the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. The globalist elite forum, called the World Economic Forum, opening under tighter than normal security. 3,000 leaders of government and business from 118 countries hearing President Trump's remarks on how America First policies have worked and worked wonders. In Washington, legislative business grinds to a halt this afternoon as the Senate begins opening arguments in President Trump's impeachment trial. The trial will consume 100% of the Senate's time, which is fine since they're not doing any other work. Sessions scheduled every day except Sundays. Troubled retailer J.C. Penney says it will close 6 more stores and a call center by the end of April. J.C. Penney already announcing 30 other closings this year. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock, 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Better get on it. If you've thought about taking advantage of the 2-for-1 offer on the MyPillow Giza cotton sheet sets, I suggest you do it today because it could be over any day now. You've heard me talk endlessly about the great night's sleep I get with MyPillow. I actually can't sleep without it. And these soft, comfy Giza cotton sheets that are cool to the touch. So if you procrastinated, do it now and get 2 sets for the price of 1. Plus, if you use the promo code Amy, you can still get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. The mattress toppers, the MyPillow towels, which are very soft and absorbent, anything you order. Deep discounts and free shipping. And all the products are made in America, right there in northern Minnesota. And the products have a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. Who does that these days? So go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener special box, and get 2 sets of Giza cotton sheets for the price of 1, and the best deals on all other great products. MyPillow.com, promo code Amy, or call 800-489-0201, 800-489-0201, and be sure to tell them that Amy sent you.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
It's been extremely helpful, I'll tell you that. And when I hear the different stories on the radio and so forth, which is what started me on it myself, I know it's real because people's stories are very, they're saying the same thing. Oh, I didn't know, I didn't believe, I didn't, and then when I started it, it changed my life. So in a very good way. It doesn't cure, it just builds my immune system and helps me live a little bit healthier life. That's the bottom line.
Don't wait to see what getting over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can do for you. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order of fruits and veggies. Start your journey to better health today by calling 1-800-2468-751 or by going to balanceofnature.com and make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
So maybe you have missing teeth and you're thinking about dental implants. There's a lot to consider: safety, quality, price, and more. Make a call today and get your questions answered. Implant Tuesday is today. It's your reminder to make the call and get the information. Dr. Neruzzi and his staff at Fox River Periodontics are waiting to take your call from 8 to 5 today. Call 630-232-7400. Make the call and get the info to make a good decision. Dr. Neruzzi and the staff will tell you the truth about the procedure and everything you need to know, like the quality of the implant and what you should consider to make it a great experience. It's Implant Tuesday. Call 630-232-7400. Considered a trusted local practice for the western suburbs and all of Chicagoland, Fox River Periodontics is in Geneva. That number again is 630-232-7400, or you can chat with them online at implants4me.com.
Nothing speaks louder about an auto dealer than a happy customer. And at Joe Cotton Ford, they have many.
Typically, the car buying process, I think a lot of people would agree that it's not a pleasant experience. You look forward to buying a car, but the actual having to negotiate and purchase a car can sometimes be an ugly thing. And the one thing that I've always had here in 19 years, every time we purchased a car, it's been a pleasant experience.
Another reason why folks keep coming back to Joe Cotton Ford. Joe Cotton Ford crushes the competition with great deals to kick off the new year. Stop in for huge savings on 2019 Ford F-150s. Be prepared for winter and save $2,000 up to $15,000 on select 2019 F-150 trucks in stock. Joe Cotton Ford, Gary and North Avenue in Carroll Stream, or at joecottonford.com. joecottonford.com. Financing through Ford Credit Financing. Not all buyers will qualify. Restrictions apply. Take new retail delivery from Ford's dealer stock by 2/2/20. See dealer for qualifications and complete details.
Do your employees complain about your 401k program? Has it been more than 6 months since your 401k advisor provided a plan review? Well, the 401k experts at Clear Financial Strategies offer ways to make your plan better. Internal company surveys show significant increases in employee 401k satisfaction after the fiduciary advisors at Clear Financial Strategies enter the scene. Clear Financial Strategies uses a process to help streamline enrollment, education, investment selection, and more that will free up time for human resources and restore employee confidence in their 401k plan. Additionally, because Clear Financial Strategies does not accept commissions or other conflicts of interest, your employees tend to see better account results due to lower costs and greater efficiencies. Go to clearfinancialstrategies.com to learn more about the firm. Then call Alan Broughton direct at 815-788-6092 to schedule a free, no-obligation appointment. Again, that's 815-788-6092, clearfinancialstrategies.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, not that it matters because we have Soviet elections in Illinois. It's no real choice. But just worth noting, more than 500 non-citizens were registered to vote mistakenly, in quotation marks, according to me. But that's what happened according to the Illinois Secretary of State. They admitted that last month. The applicants applying for Illinois driver's license clearly selected no to a question about citizenship, but the state said yes and included them in the batches of applications sent to the State Board of Elections for inclusion on the voter rolls and in local county jury pools. They've now corrected the mistake and assures that error won't happen again. So, lest you lose confidence in the election authorities and more generally your Illinois state government. All is well with Illinois state government. Fear thee not.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
we're going to talk to Adam Kennedy. He is Deputy Assistant to the President, Deputy Director of White House Communications. It's day one of the trial of the century. We'll get his handle at 7:07.
But now let's head straight into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
3 cases of Legionnaire's disease reported at a suburban retirement community. Far South Side Church destroyed by fire. We'll talk with the pastor. Joliet police officer charged in a crash that killed a Berwyn police officer. Oak Brook Terrace mayor resigns amid a widening federal probe into red light cameras. Madison, Wisconsin police have ID'd a weekend murder victim from Chicago. Bucks beat the Bulls. Blackhawks will host the Panthers in Joel Quenneville later on tonight. And in the Big Ten tonight, it's Fighting Illini and Purdue. Mostly sunny and 29 in your weather forecast. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
He spoke out before he spoke. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
It's the witch hunt that's been going on for years, and it's disgraceful.
President Trump talking about impeachment right before he took the stage at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland.
We've regained our stride, rediscovered our spirit, and reawakened the powerful machinery of American enterprise.
And he hailed new trade deals with Mexico, Canada, and China, while back in Washington, his supporters keep working on his defense.
The House Democrat majority wanted to impeach the president because they don't like him. They don't like what he stands for. They don't like to be able that he can go give a speech talking about American exceptionalism.
Congressman Doug Collins, one of 8 House Republicans, added to the legal team. Democrats accuse the president of abuse of power, obstruction of Congress, but don't like the GOP plan to proceed, saying it amounts to a quick cover-up.
Senator McConnell's resolution is a national disgrace.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer will try to alter the plan when the trial resumes today. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
Lawmakers will begin debating a resolution at 1 p.m. Eastern, laying out the ground rules for the trial. The resolution gives both House managers and the president's defense team 24 hours each over the course of 2 days to present their cases, followed by a period of 16 hours for written questions. Senators will likely spend all day and night today debating the resolution, which must be passed before opening arguments, which will likely be given tomorrow. A simple majority of senators, 51 votes, is needed to approve the resolution. Dave?
John, a 19-year-old man's in custody in San Antonio, accused in Sunday's club shooting that left 2 dead, 5 injured. When he was arrested, Kieran Williams told reporters to check his music out on Instagram.
Do you realize you're charged with capital murder?
I do realize my charge is capital murder.
You'll never be able to listen to your music again?
I bet you I will. Self-defense, sir.
In Phoenix, police are trying to figure out why 3 young kids were found dead in a home. They were 3, 2, and 7 months old. The mother, father, and another relative have been interviewed by police. America's listening to Fox News.
$15 degrees, 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Health officials continue investigating after 3 cases of Legionnaire's disease were reported at a retirement community in Carroll Stream. DuPage County Health Department saying all the cases have happened since May of last year at the Windsor Park retirement community. A Joliet police officer is free on bond after being charged in a crash on I-55 near Plainfield that killed a Berwyn police officer. Officer Erin Zilka is facing a misdemeanor count of driving under the influence. She faces a more serious charge depending on the outcome of an internal investigation by the Joliet Police Department. Meantime, an intoxicated driver is accused of causing the initial crash that led to the death of that off-duty Berwyn officer. Rodrigo Marin of Plainfield apparently lost control of his vehicle causing the initial crash. Marin, man believed to have caused that crash, now charged with 2 counts of aggravated driving under the influence and many other charges, including no valid insurance and driving with a revoked license. An employee is hospitalized after being crushed by a truck at a repair shop in Hundley. Police say the incident happened yesterday while the victim was working on a truck at R&R Truck Repair. The worker pulled from underneath the vehicle with the help of a forklift before being hospitalized, where his condition this morning is not known. A church is destroyed following a fire on the south side. Beacon Light Ministries building caught fire yesterday near Michigan Avenue and 111th.
You're at a standstill right now, so we're holding on to each other, showing love.
Pastor Jerome Powell spoke with reporters yesterday as he watched the building go up in flames. Oakbrook Terrace Mayor Tony Rigucci stepping down as he faces an ongoing federal corruption probe. Rigucci submitted his resignation Friday. He was among several elected officials and politically connected contractors embroiled in a federal probe involving Safe Speed LLC, a controversial company that operates lucrative but constitutionally questionable red light cameras in dozens of Chicago area suburbs. Bucks meet the Bulls, 111-98. Illinois takes on Purdue later on tonight on the ice, Blackhawks and Panthers. And the news, a service of Staples. Staples has a huge selection of ink and toner in stock at low prices. This week, HP OfficeJet Pro cartridges are buy one, get one 30% off. You'll get more for less at Staples. Offer ends 1/25/20. Restrictions apply. See store or staples.com/HPBOGO for details. Staples. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
There's no better way to celebrate the great state of our union than to sit down to a finely prepared meal, pour yourself a nice bubbly beverage, and get together with all your rowdy friends. Yeah, that's just what we're doing on Tuesday, February 4th. Join us for our State of the Union viewing party, presented by healthinsurancementors.com. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/taste. Sponsored in part by Saint-Levin Age-Defying Skincare.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So, what do you provide? Cookie-cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie-cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Fred Astaire, dance, dance, dance.
Hey, it's a reality. We're all getting older every day, but it doesn't have to be the bummers some folks make it out to be. If you keep your body moving, not only can you keep your physical health in check, but it also enhances your mental health as well. In fact, ballroom dancing will kick your physical and mental health into high gear. Brain power, neural pathways are affected in a big positive way when you're making split-second decisions in rapid succession. And this is precisely what's happening when you're ballroom dancing. This is why seniors can greatly benefit from learning, because improved coordination and mental challenges, even small ones, can prevent the onset of Alzheimer's, dementia, and really help you age healthier. This is Tony Dovolani with Fred Astaire Dance Studios. We're going to get your mind revved up, and all you have to do is get out there and dance.
Fred Astaire, dance, dance.
Visit FredAstaire.com to learn more.
7:07, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Jim Telemonte.
A house fire in Skokie has Niles Center Road closed between Howard and Jarvis. The fire is on Fargo, and this means Gapers delays nearby on the 8 ends inbound. Looking at a travel time of about 24 minutes. Lake Hook, Junction outbound 26. Inbound Kennedy. Delays started Central, 47 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. I think that delays started Cumberland. Looking at 26 minutes from Montrose, 21 on the Express. Eisenhower, 44 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, 45 minutes, 355 to the drive. Orion, 32 minutes from 95th. I-57, 20 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop 425. Northbound Lakeshore Drive is heavy from the Stevenson to Monroe. Northbound Tri-State, scattered delays started Archer. I'm Chip Telemonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1 hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Sunny and 29 today. 16 at O'Hare. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And I think we've moved from Seinfeld impeachment, about nothing, to a Larry the Cable Guy impeachment trial. You know what I mean by that? Get her done. That's what I mean by that.
Let's just get her done.
And I think Mitch McConnell agrees, per the resolution that will be voted up by the Senate today, to limit the House managers to 2 days of presentation of their argument.
A total of 24 hours. And they were arguing yesterday that some of the arguments are going to be made during prime time, and that's going to take away from the American people seeing this trial.
So the presentation of the case in chief from House managers, you get 2 days. Response, you get 2 days. And then senators get to write the questions and then, call the thing. I think Mitch McConnell's doing it right. I think he's managing this right. I think he's preventing the Democrats from Kavanaughing this matter, and that's exactly the right thing to do. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Adam Kennedy, Deputy Assistant to the President, Deputy Director of White House Communications. Adam, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Is the White House and the President's legal defense team, do they like the resolution that Mitch McConnell has advanced?
Well, we've been prepared for any kind of setup that Mitch McConnell or the Senate may put in place. They still have to vote on it and make sure that it goes through clean today. But at the end of the day, what the president wants is a vote and to be exonerated. We see this as an open and shut case. We think we can have a forceful argument to make. We're going to make it. And we think that the Senate's going to see just how hollow and empty this Democratic impeachment is.
Now, yesterday, President Trump announced other impeachment team members. What is their main role? I mean, we've got, Collins, Meadows, Johnson, Ratcliffe, and Jim Jordan.
Oh, absolutely. So we have the team that will be on the floor. They'll be a critical part of our presentation. And we'll have other team members who will be helping to strategize, helping to get the message out, working very closely with us to make sure that we are going on all cylinders on this. Because really what the Democrats are trying to do is not just overturn 2016, but interfere in 2020. We want to make sure we have all the resources necessary to push back on that.
The two additions to the legal team and in terms of the actual lawyers, Dershowitz and Starr. Dershowitz explained what his limited role was going to be over the weekend in terms of providing the contextual history of the impeachment clauses in the Constitution. What about Ken Starr? Why the addition of him to join Cipollone and Sekulow?
Well, there's a number of outside members. Jay Sekulow is an outside lawyer who's joined the team. There's a couple others. But Ken Starr, what he provides is really a unique perspective in that he has gone through impeachment proceedings before. They actually had a whole investigation before they even went to the House. He knows what due process looks like. He knows what this sort of situation, how it should have been conducted. And we can see the sharp contrast with how the Democrats actually decided to conduct it.
Now, President Trump has said on this big question that's the center of the disagreement between Senate Republicans and Democrats, witnesses. He said, I want witnesses to testify. Sure, bring your witnesses. And I want everybody to testify and say what they have to say because I want to be completely exonerated. That may not be the position that may not be what actually comes to pass. Is the president going to be all right with no witnesses?
I think we'll all be okay with that because at the end of the day, a vote is an exoneration. I mean, if we make our case persuasively, if we show how little evidence the Democrats really have, and I think we will, I think we'll do it convincingly, then there is no need for other witnesses. And let's not forget, during the Clinton impeachment proceedings, the only witnesses called up during the Senate were ones that were previously questioned. What Democrats are trying to do now is call up a whole raft of people who have never been questioned, who have never been looked into, and essentially for the first time hear what they have to say on this after the investigation is supposed to be concluded.
Well, I mean, what do you make too? The Democrats seem to be playing this trial in the court of public opinion. Keep dumping documents and text messages between Lev Parnas and some congressional candidate in Connecticut.
Well, this is something they've been doing the entire time. I mean, let's not forget this all started really when Nancy Pelosi went to a podium without even seeing the transcript and said, we're going to start impeachment proceedings on what evidence we don't really know, but we're going to go forward. And then you had Adam Schiff, who lied about his staff's contact with the whistleblower. Could be repeated contact. He has refused to testify about it. He has refused to explain why he lied to the American people. Then they had secret hearings during the entire time they leaked during and made sure that they presented a one-sided kind of view of what was going on. When we actually saw the public hearings, we saw how thin the evidence actually was. I'd say that what's going on now is the same thing, completely consistent with what Democrats have been doing since day one of this.
And with respect to the timing of this all, I mean, it seems to me that the president would want to get this done in advance of the State of the Union address beginning of February. So he can say, we've put that nonsense behind us. Now we're going to go forward, and here's my policy agenda that, with respect to issues that actually impact your lives for the rest of my first term and for a prospective second term.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the American people and the president's policies have always been the president's focus. It's the Democrats who have decided to turn all of this into impeachment and trying to interfere in our politics. And the president has continued to focus on the American people the entire time. That's what we've seen with the trade deals. I mean, 2 huge wins on trade. He's in Davos right now talking about this great economy we have. I think the president wants to go forward and speak to the American people about all that we've done and all that we're going to do going forward.
He is Adam Kennedy, Deputy Assistant to the President, Deputy Director of White House Communications. Adam, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Take care.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Why does Bob look like a zombie?
Didn't sleep last night because of his cold.
He should have tried new Mucinex Night Shift. Helps fight cold and flu symptoms so you can wake up feeling human. Yeesh. New Mucinex Night Shift. Good night, zombie. Good morning, human. Get relief with super fast delivery.
I love my country and think that supporting the men and women who have served to protect our values is the least we can do. Hi, this is John Sloss. I'm a veteran and the owner of Basement Flood Protector. Since 1974, we've manufactured the highest quality products and provided unmatched basement waterproofing and sump pump service to the Chicagoland area. Most problems with water in your basement have to do with your sump pump. Maybe it doesn't work properly or you need a higher capacity. At Basement Flood Protector, we offer a complete line of sump, ejector, and battery backup pumps. Do you really want the hassle and huge expense of restoration? Prevent it. Contact us. We'd be happy to assess your situation. The Protector line of pumps are just made better, work better, and last longer. Contact us. Go to floodnot.com. That's floodnot.com. And if you're a veteran-owned company, let us know and we'll add you to the veterans area of our website. Basement Flood Protector. Floodnot.com.
When it's cold outside, you can dress for it. But when your furnace gives out, hey, a blanket fort can only do so much. So call your local 1-Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. We'll replace your old furnace with a new high-efficiency one. And that beats a bunch of blankets any day. Right now, cozy up to big savings on a complete heating system. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1-Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Hey, if you have trouble getting started this new year because you've been fighting that nasty, pesky cold or worse, the flu, and it's only January and experts are predicting a terrible flu season this year, then the best way to stay healthy in 2020 is to boost your immune system by eating healthy, getting those fruits and veggies, which I know we are not doing on our own, and that's where Balance of Nature comes in. 6 capsules of Balance of Nature. You're getting 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies. Folks, there's no dyes or preservatives in these things either. And you hear stories right here about how Balance of Nature has changed people's lives. Well, guess what? The next story could be yours, but you have to order Balance of Nature today. Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself and make 2020 a year of better health. And right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off your new preferred orders of fruits and veggies. So start your journey to better health right now. Do it now. Call 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or simply go to balanceofnature.com. Discount code Chicago.
If you haven't switched to Pure Talk USA, you're probably paying too much for your cell service. Pure Talk covers 99% of the country, and plans start at just $20 per line with no contract and a 1-month risk-free guarantee. You've got nothing to lose. You can even keep your phone and your number. Get 50% off your first month when you call now. Just go to puretalkusa.com and enter promo code half off. That's puretalkusa.com, promo code half off.
AmericanEagle.com has been fortunate to develop thousands of business websites over the past 15 years. Businesses just like yours. Don't think because they advertise on the radio and mention big clients like Portillo's, WeatherTech, and Dairy Queen that they won't give your small to medium-sized business the same great service. Small and medium-sized companies are a huge part of AmericanEagle.com's clients. AmericanEagle.com's continued success is because they're capable of a wide range of projects from small to extremely large. They view all clients as long-term partners on every internet endeavor. When you're looking for an experienced and reputable partner for any of your internet-related projects, consider AmericanEagle.com. They'll likely be able to show you a project they've already done that's similar to what your company needs. AmericanEagle.com, the only name you need to know for website development, hosting, and maintenance. You can reach AmericanEagle.com on the web or at 773-NETWORK. That's 773-NETWORK.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, 312-642-5600, Turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, Turnkey.pro text line. Are you pleased with the rules of the game set forth in the resolution that Mitch McConnell has introduced for a vote today as we describe them? This is, the top line is this. Both sides are going to present their case. Senators are going to ask their questions in written form.
Yeah, written form.
And,
it's 16 hours to do so, too.
And then there's going to be a vote. No witnesses. This isn't going to be protracted.
Well,
we're going to move this along.
But they are going to take a vote on whether or not there will be witnesses, which surprised some yesterday, thinking, I thought that they would just leave that out. But still, Chuck Schumer, not pleased. He spoke last night outside of his New York apartment.
After reading McConnell's resolution, it's clear McConnell is hell-bent on making it much more difficult to get witnesses and documents and intent on rushing the trial through.
Right. He's very offended by rushing a trial against some artificial timeline. He's not offended, of course, about rushing an impeachment against some artificial timeline or rushing an impeachment that contained, according to George Washington law professor Jonathan Turley.
And your girl, Hirano?
One of the thinnest records to ever go forward on impeachment. In addition to let's not suspend our recognition of the last 3 years, starting with the Washington Post headline, Washington Post story about the impeachment of President Trump that posted 20 minutes after he was inaugurated. The campaign to remove this president from office begins today. That was on his inauguration day. And then Mueller. And then this. Now, I know you take the evidence that's presented separate and distinct from the last 3 years, but just this is a political process, so you can't forget the politics that has brought us to this point that we've been living every single day since the president has been inaugurated, which is they didn't like the 2016 election results, and so they're going to use the power that they have to remove this president from office, even if it's one of the thinnest records to ever go forward on impeachment, as Jonathan Turley said.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line, 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. Some senators were out there yesterday, including our favorite from Hawaii, Hirano.
It's a so what defense. And so if it's a so what defense, he did it, so what?
You have to ask ourselves, who is the president going to shake down next?
She's just insufferable.
Shake down. That sounds like an extortion charge.
But they didn't get that as an article of impeachment.
That's right.
You're shaking down somebody, Harana.
That's just a talking point. That's a focus group tested word that they've used and then now discarded. Because remember, we're not to talk about extortion or bribery. Oh, right. Now the issue is cover up. Right? No witnesses is a cover up. That's the Nancy Pelosi line. That's the line that's going to be used by the dutiful automatons like Mazie Hirono. No witnesses is cover-up. The flip side is witnesses is carnival. And Republicans should absolutely not indulge. Mitch McConnell, I would suspect, has his caucus in line, and you're not going to indulge the antics of effectively House and Senate Democrats.
Because if they do call to have witnesses, this is going to last anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. If that happens, and then there'll be, the State of the Union. But they are going to take the vote, Dan, and you're positive that Mitt Romney, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski aren't going to vote for witnesses.
That's only 3. You're going to need another.
Lamar Alexander, possibly.
I don't think so. I don't think
Manchin?
I don't think McConnell. Well, yeah, I don't think McConnell moves this without having a head count. Okay. Moves the resolution this one without having a head count, and he's a pretty good parliamentarian, and he is a Machiavellian politician. And he knows what's in the best interest of his caucus. And I suspect that he's persuaded all who need to be persuaded to support this resolution. Well, you never know. And you can be, you can be surprised. You can be hornswoggled the way that McCain undid the caucus with respect to his vote on Obamacare repeal. That can happen. Personal animus of the president. Mitt Romney, the leading candidate to indulge that, probably. But I suspect that's not the case.
Okay.
And look, even if that were to come to pass, and you have a 6 to 8 week circus, going back to 2020, going back 20 years to the last impeachment of Bill Clinton, of course, he delivered a State of the Union speech while his trial was going on.
Oh yeah, I remember.
So this wouldn't be unprecedented, and it's not something
so
that
uncomfortable to watch.
It's not something that the president couldn't marshal through. President Trump, I'm talking about, and still get a bounce post impeachment, the way that President Clinton did. But I just think it's better to stem this tide. It's just you're just in a stronger position to have this over and done with, put to bed, so that you can focus completely on the future rather than present politics when you deliver what's going to be his most important State of the Union speech, 9 months before an election.
And you know who I feel sorry for? Iowans who have to suffer through this now that Elizabeth Warren, Amy Klobuchar, and 2 other senators are off the campaign trail in Washington, D.C. They can't have access to their phones.
I'm sorry, that qualifies as suffering?
No, what's suffering is that their husbands, Elizabeth Warren's husband, is going to be on the campaign trail. You remember him.
As I approached the reception, I looked across the lawn, and from about, 25 yards away, I saw Elizabeth talking to a couple of people, and even from that distance, I was just drawn to her. She was so lively, so animated, so engaged.
Talking about taking my money.
Fell for her from 25 yards out before even meeting.
Love at first sight?
For me, yes. It took her a couple of days.
Sure. You can hear the passion in the professor's
voice.
voice.
Sunday late afternoon.
That's right, yeah.
When we met.
Yeah. I know.
I wasn't completely in love with him.
It's like a Seurat painting come to life. Yes. Okay, all right.
And then Amy
please.
Klobuchar is going to have her husband and her daughter go to other, campaign events for them and Skype in if they can, because they're not going to have any access to their phones.
Yeah, wonderful. The co-endorsees of the New York Times.
Right, exactly. And Amy Klobuchar, she was surprised.
Well, I'm very excited about it.
You don't sound very excited.
Didn't expect it.
That is as happy and as surprised as one person can be. Okay, Dan?
I think Amy Klobuchar should connect up with Elizabeth Warren's husband. I think that's a better match, just in terms of temperament, personality.
Have you seen Elizabeth Warren's husband?
Yeah, I saw that
insufferable interview?
fawning interview that was done. CNN, right?
Yeah,
of
of
course. Do people? Do you even get the sense that people are paying attention to this, even with the trial of the century starting this afternoon?
In a few hours, yeah.
I get the sense that Peggy Noonan is on the mark with her piece over the weekend in the Journal about this, where she said, the media and partisans repeat every charge or every development with breathlessly. But I get the sense, Peggy Noonan said, that this is 2016 all over again, except with full employment. That we never really moved on beyond 2016. I mean, the president did, and the country has.
Not all of us.
And there's a lot of positive things that have occurred since then, like the situation with the U.S. economy and, by extension, individual people's households and so forth. But you get the sense it's just we're still in 2016, just with full employment. I think that's a nice one-sentence summary of where we're at and why it's been so difficult to get the sense that anybody who hasn't been worked up about every Trump tweet over the last 3 years is worked up about this impeachment matter, even though this is supposed to be so seminal. I get the sense that President Trump is right. All they've really accomplished, the House Democrats, is to cheapen impeachment and make it and weaponize it as a political tool. And hopefully, when Republicans have the chance to do this, if the grounds are not worthy of it, they will resist the temptation to follow what the House Democrats did and remind people that we could be them and they couldn't be us, and we're going to guard that distinction jealously, and we're going to restore some restraint to the House and correspondingly the Senate when it comes to exercising the nuclear option, the real nuclear option, which is removal of a president from office.
And all of you ladies who watch soap operas and talk shows during the afternoon, going to be preempted because all of them are covering this as special report from now until when the impeachment trial is over. And it'll be surprising to see what the ratings are going to be if anyone's tuning in, because I don't think anyone, I think they're turned off by this. It's too much.
What do you think the Venn diagram is? What do you think that looks like? Ellen DeGeneres viewers and impeachment trial watchers. Is there any intersection? I doubt it.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
we're going to talk to Daniel Flynn, senior editor of the American Spectator and author of the new book, Intellectual Morons and a Conservative History of the American Left.
And meet the man who killed a coyote with his bare hands to protect his daughter. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Skies are clear this morning, just about sunrise at 7:30. We have 15 degrees officially at O'Hare, and the president facing what some are calling a historic impeachment trial in the Senate that gets underway today.
It's just a hoax. It's the witch hunt that's been going on for years, and it's disgraceful.
He slammed the process this morning, speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin says the next phase of a trade deal with China would not necessarily remove all tariffs existing on Chinese imports. Mnuchin telling the Wall Street Journal that the Trump administration may remove tariffs sequentially, breaking a Phase 2 deal into several steps. An outbreak of the deadly virus that's prompted screenings at some U.S. airports continues to spread in China and beyond. Chinese officials confirming dozens of new cases yesterday in cities like Shanghai and Beijing. South Korea also has its first confirmed case. Authorities in Arizona this morning are looking for answers after 3 children were found dead in Phoenix. Police there say the children were younger than 4 and pronounced dead inside of a home without obvious signs, they say, of trauma. Health officials are investigating after 3 cases of Legionnaire's disease were reported at a retirement community in Carroll Stream. A Joliet police officer is free on bond after being charged in a crash on I-55 near Plainfield that killed a fellow Berwyn police officer. Oak Brook Terrace Mayor Tony Rigucci stepping down as he faces an ongoing federal corruption investigation. Rigucci submitted his resignation on Friday. Chicago-based Boeing this morning is asking for financial help as it deals with the ongoing grounding of its 737 MAX planes. CNBC reporting the aerospace giant is hoping to secure a $10 billion loan. Boeing already has approval for a $6 billion lending scheme. The company has paid out billions in compensation to airlines. Blackhawks host the Panthers later on tonight, heading into the All-Star break. Bucks beat the Bulls 111-98 in Milwaukee. Big Ten Hoops, the Fighting Illini play at Purdue. The News, a service of Staples with a huge selection of ink and toner in stock at low prices. This week, HP OfficeJet Pro cartridges are buy one, get one 30% off. You'll get more for less at Staples. Offer ends 1/25/20. Restrictions apply. See store or staples.com/HP BOGO for details. Staples. 7:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Steve Cortez.
One of my favorite books as a junior high student, The Outsiders. Well, when it comes to politics, we in the America First Movement, we're the greasers. We're the outsiders. I'm okay with being an outsider. You probably are as well. Being a conservative in Chicago. I'm unafraid of being a Trump advocate on CNN. And I'm unafraid about being a Christian trying to raise a faith-filled family in a world that's often hostile.
The Steve Cortez Show. Weeknights at 5, right before Larry Elder at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Frank Vance, co-owner of Egan Vance Insurance Agency on Chicago's Northwest Side and a customer of Signature Bank. In my line of work, we pride ourselves on being there for our clients when they need it the most. And we recognize when someone does the same for us. As Egan Vance was expanding, we wanted to buy a much sought-after building in the neighborhood. We couldn't waste any time. I called Signature Bank, and that was all it took. I didn't have to talk to multiple people in siloed departments with multiple forms to fill out. One call did it all. As the one who was always looking out for my clients, it was a great change to know that my bank, Signature Bank, was looking out for me.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. If you need windows, call the exterior experts.
Call Crumweedy.
Mark Olson and Greg Olson of Crumweedy. Well, they run a third-generation family business that's been doing Chicagoland exteriors now since 1953. And for them, it's all about trust, and they truly share your values. Why windows from Crumweedy? Now, Crumweedy windows are not offered anywhere else in Chicagoland. They are exclusive, and that's why they can offer a lifetime material and labor installation guarantee. A lifetime. That's a great investment for your home. Windows from Crumweedy are Energy Star rated, unlike most other windows. Also, the vinyl windows are 100% virgin vinyl. You're getting quality windows with a lifetime material and labor installation. Now, if your windows are needy,
call Crumweedy.
630-595-8020. The name is not easy to spell. Just remember this. WindowsAreNeedy.com. WindowsAreNeedy.com.
It's open enrollment season, and MediShare is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry that saves most families about $500 a month. Google MediShare and see if it is a fit for you.
7:36, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Jim Telemonte.
In Skokie, a house fire has Niles Center Road closed between Howard and Jarvis. There are Gapers delays on the Edens nearby. Inbound, looking at 25 minutes. Lake Cook to Junction, outbound 28. Inbound Kennedy, 50 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 26 from Montrose, 21 on the Express. Outbound 35 to the airport. Eisenhower, 46 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 40. Stevenson, 48 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan runs 37 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 33 minutes, 90 to the merge, Bishop 425. Northbound Tri-State delays are 95th to 75th. Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis. Up from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. It's about Reagan Tollway and slow from the Aurora Toll to 59. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. In our 1 hour heating and air conditioning weather center, we're seeing sunny skies today with a high of 29. Currently, we have 17 degrees and a sunrise over Chicago. Next news coming up at 8. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, and your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity, this afternoon at 2 on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. We were talking about impeachment and an impact on the Democrat-Socialist primary with the Iowa caucus just less than 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
So we need to go to the front runner there. It's still Joe Biden, technically. And Joe Biden has come up with more Bidenisms that should inflame the passions of the caucus goers. I mean, these are, I think, of a kind like his message to coal miners, which is if you can go 3,000 feet down into the earth, then you can learn how to code. So the wonderful future he has planned for coal miners.
Oh, yeah, transferable skills, definitely.
He's not a big fan of those little creeps that make video games either.
Yeah, he came out against them yesterday, calling them little creeps, and that's what he's doing. He's training his sights on video game makers in a recent New York Times interview, calling them little creeps, as he recalled one who said he was an artist because he was able to come up with games to teach you how to kill people.
Uh-huh.
So one of those, I mean, that's...
Yeah, these creeps are arrogant. These creeps are arrogant, those that make games that teach people how to kill. I don't know that a video game teaches somebody how to kill. It's not an instructional video, Joe. Boomer. Boy, talk about his connection to people under the age of 100. This is why Biden, the reason he's leading, 65 plus. Huge lead over 65 with 65 plus. He's getting hammered below that age demographic. And this speaks to why Joe Biden is the weakest nominee the Democrat Socialists could level up. He doesn't bring the base, and he doesn't bring any energy because he doesn't have much currency in his own party.
I mean, he really is Sleepy Joe.
Younger
and they have to
demos.
bus in high school students to some of his rallies because nobody cares. All the kids are at Bernie Sanders rallies.
In addition to that, he made this other rather remarkable statement because he said that he would fire immigration and customs enforcement agents who arrest and deport illegal immigrants who are not guilty of felony crimes. So you don't get deported in this country if you're not guilty of a felony crime in a Biden administration. And when it comes to felonies, even, that doesn't include all felonies like drunk driving because he doesn't count drunk driving as a felony. I mean, the law does. If you get a DUI in Illinois, you're facing felony charges. But Joe Biden doesn't count that as a felony. So you are here illegally and you get a felony DUI charge. You get to stay. Oh, man. He's having a really difficult time trying to pantomime his way to the AOC crowd. Really is. For more on 2020 and impeachment trial day one, we're pleased to be joined by Daniel Flynn, senior editor of The American Spectator and author of the book Intellectual Morons and a Conservative History of the American Left. Perfect segue, Intellectual Morons, from Joe Biden. Daniel Flynn, we're pleased to have you. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So before we get to the trial of the century day one, what's your handle on the Iowa caucus and, say the top echelon? I guess we have to include Klobuchar because she got the co-endorsement of the New York Times. The top 4 or 5 candidates in the field.
Well, I think that because of the impeachment, it looks like Buttigieg and Biden have the advantage, and maybe by design. I always thought, I mean, Nancy Pelosi outsmarted me, and I'm paid to follow these things. I always thought that she was delaying the impeachment so as not to compete with the Iowa caucuses and the New Hampshire primary. It turns out she wanted this. She wanted it to compete with the caucuses and the primary because it gives someone like Biden and Buttigieg, two of the more mainstream Democrats, an advantage over Sanders and Warren. And I mean, it's tough. I don't know if it's going to work because all eyes are going to be on Washington, and Sanders and Warren will be in Washington. But I do think that was their intention.
I don't know. I don't know about that. See, I mean, I think there's a tendency to impute more skills on some people than they actually possess, and you can't say that, it seems to me, and then also square that with the position of Democrats, House and Senate, which is for witnesses. Because if you were to get that, then you have Joe and Hunter Biden before before you testifying in a Senate.
They're not going to get witnesses. Everyone, I mean, she can ask as much as she wants. She knows she's not going to get that, and if she does get that, they're going to vote it down because you're going to have, both the Bidens. Maybe you'll have this fellow whose name I can't pronounce, Charamella.
Yeah, the whistleblower, right?
Yeah, so they didn't. They want to have a lot of theatrics, and I think part of the theatrics is to demand witnesses. But obviously, once they get witnesses that Republicans want, they're not going to go for that. They want Bolton. They want some other people in the administration. They don't want the Republicans to have their own witnesses. And obviously,
it would seem to me, though, I mean, with respect to Biden specifically, if he's going to be the default establishment candidate, such as the establishment exists. So you want Biden on the trail more? Or
say again?
I'm asking, their position is they want Biden on the campaign trail more, or do they want him to maybe take the Bloomberg approach, it's commercials we need more of from you that have been prepackaged rather than Joe on the stump talking about DUIs aren't felonies and game developers are arrogant punks and coal miners need to learn how to code and anything else that may come out of Joe Biden's mouth at any time.
Well, he's a pretty flawed candidate, but he's going against some very flawed candidates. And so I think the difference between Biden and, say, Warren is, Biden is somewhat likable, and it's a little harder to like Warren. And I think Bernie's positions make him a little bit difficult to like. I think people look at Buttigieg almost the same way, I don't want to take you back too far, but in 1980 when Ronald Reagan ran, there was a guy named Phil Crane from your state,
right.
Illinois, and I think he basically ran as the insurance candidate so that, I'm the younger version of Ronald Reagan. So if you think he's too old, vote for me. And I think with Buttigieg, he's saying, listen, I'm the younger version of Joe Biden, who would be 78 on Inauguration Day. If you think he's too old to be president, vote for me. And, as far as likability, I think Buttigieg has probably done a better job than most of the rest, particularly the top-tier candidates, in getting voters to like him. And I think with Warren and Sanders, they're a little bit too ideological. Klobuchar seems to be doing a lot better in Iowa than she is elsewhere, but it doesn't seem that she's going to go anywhere. However, I will say that with the caveat, there has been sort of a revolving door of frontrunners in this race, and maybe it's Klobuchar's turn to take over.
Yeah, she's doing well because they can relate to her. She's from Minnesota, Iowans, and 60% of Iowans aren't committed to their first choice candidate. And I lived in Iowa for 4 years, participated in a caucus, and what Iowans love is face-to-face contact. So I think this is a huge boom for Pete Buttigieg while the other senators are away in Washington. They don't have access to their phones. There's going to be no viral moments. They can't relate or get in touch with possible constituents. Do you think I'm crazy?
I don't. I mean, I think that's I think Buttigieg and Sanders are going to have the advantage. Now, what's going to happen in New Hampshire is interesting because if you have, what would be interesting to me is if Biden does not win in Iowa, say if you have Buttigieg or someone else win, they go to New Hampshire. It looks like Bernie probably would win New Hampshire. Mm-hmm. Then it opens up a bit, and you have people like Bloomberg, who with the money could steal a few states, and then all of a sudden you have a very I'm not suggesting they're going to have a brokered convention or anything like that, but you have a very muddled field if you have someone other than Biden winning in Iowa. And again, I think it will get very interesting if he does not win in Iowa, because you're going to have to wait till South Carolina for him to actually get a victory.
Well, right. I mean, but the Bloomberg play is a Super Tuesday play, right? I mean, he hopes that nobody gathers any momentum, sort of as you're suggesting. There's somebody wins Iowa, somebody different wins New Hampshire, somebody different perhaps wins South Carolina, Biden's firewall, as it were. And Bloomberg can just pound the airwaves in all those Super Tuesday states and sort of creep up on the field. And if he has a big Super Tuesday, then he reshuffles the race.
But, isn't it interesting that the last mayor of New York City to actually compete in primaries and caucuses had that same strategy, Rudy Giuliani? It didn't really work out for him. So I don't know that it's going to work out for Bloomberg. There's a gamble there. There's a chance. It's possible.
But the difference, of course, is that Rudy Giuliani didn't have $2 billion to flood the airwaves. That's a slight difference. Yeah, I mean, so no, you're right though. I mean, it is very Giuliani-esque. I'm going to wait till Florida, and by the time it got to Florida, Rudy was out of the race. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely not intuitive, but these aren't intuitive times. Perhaps I don't know. It seems to me though, with respect to President Trump, combined with his speech today at Davos, where he's focused on U.S. economy and the global economy, but of course the global economy as relates to U.S. economic strength, and that will be repeated at his State of the Union speech, which is also a couple of weeks away. And so the quicker that this impeachment matter gets done, the better it is, and the quicker he can turn the page, the better it is for him. I think so. I don't know that this is good for Democrats either, because what do you do the day after impeachment is over? Do you go impeachment the sequel? I mean, I have no idea what their strategy is. They sort of will have shot their shot, and that will be it. And so what do? You have a base that's, I don't know if they're demoralized or if they're out for blood, meaning I don't know if they're energized or demoralized after they lose this thing. I mean, there is a lot of theatrics. There is a lot of drama here. The one part that's not very dramatic is we all know the outcome. We all, and usually you don't go into a movie that you know the ending to. And I think in this case, there's a lot of, every American who's paying attention knows how this ends. So once it does end, what's the payoff for Democrats?
No, they're using it as a label for Trump. So they'll say, during the campaign, he's an impeached president. You can see the campaign ads now. They write themselves.
Yeah.
Sure. And I think if you go back to when Clinton was impeached, I mean, if you see in the lead up to that, what happened with those elections, which I think were very historic in 1998, because usually you have the president's party losing in an off-year election, and they won. They did, he did pretty well. That may happen with Trump, where there was overreach. People will look at Nancy Pelosi, people look at Adam Schiff and Jerry Nadler and some of these characters that came out of this impeachment hearings to sort of greater prominence. I'll say, I don't really like these people. They're over the top, they're extreme, and they may go, they may go into Trump's arms. Now, the difference between now and then is that, everyone's sort of made up their mind at this point. I don't know that there's too many independents anymore, people in the middle. Everyone sort of knows where they stand on Trump. So maybe it doesn't change things at all, but there is this danger that Democrats have of overreach. Yeah, and people probably don't recall, but after he was acquitted, President Clinton, he rose to his highest favorability approval ratings of his presidency. It was over 70%. Now, the difference there, here is he had a press corps that was opposed to his removal from office as well, an impeachment and removal. And so they, told that story relentlessly, which buoyed his favorability ratings. President Trump's not going to have that same thing. But it will matter the quality of the arguments that are presented for those watching over the next week by the House managers as well as the president's team. Yeah, I think it will matter, but I think everyone has pretty much made up their minds. And I also think that most people, if you want to impeach the president, you really need to have something strong. You need to have something big. And I think for most people, this doesn't rise to that level. This is I don't want to say it's kind of politics as usual. You have presidents who do this kind of thing, who have sort of quid pro quos, who want to get a certain result, and they have a carrot and stick approach. There's nothing new here, and so I think for a lot of people, they're looking at this and saying, well, gee, these are the same people that had an impeach Trump website the day he was inaugurated. Yes. They tried to impeach him on emoluments. They tried to impeach him on racism in Charlottesville. They tried to impeach him on Russia collusion. They just want the guy impeached. The facts kind of don't matter. What they really want is just to get him out of office or to tar him or to tar his name. He is Daniel Flynn, senior editor of The American Spectator, author of Intellectual Morons and a Conservative History of the American Left. Daniel, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I haven't heard any negative feedback from any of my patients who have been taking the product. I look at Balance of Nature and I look what it's doing for me as I've started taking it, and for the patients that I have that are taking it, it's been phenomenal.
In my practice, I was getting to the point where I couldn't have the strength to see that many patients anymore, and I was introduced to the fruits and veggies. Just slowly, my strength started to come back, and it was because of the good nutrition. I can't say enough good for Balance of Nature and what it's done for me. I recommend it to everybody.
Don't wait to see what getting over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables can do for you. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order of fruits and veggies. Start your journey to better health today by calling 1-800-2468-751 or by going to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
Real quick, Dan, just so you know, Prince Harry has landed in Vancouver, Canada,
Wow.
and now he begins his new life.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
His new life where he has to carry his own luggage.
Yes.
The American economy remains strong. Both business owners and employees are enjoying the benefits. Here at AM 560, we want to celebrate the businesses that are thriving. Are you a business owner who is part of this great American success story? If so, we want to hear from you. Once again, we're taking our show on the road, and we'll be broadcasting from Chicagoland businesses enjoying success as they serve their customers and clients through the hard work of their employees. We want to hear your story, share your success, and find out what makes your business run. It's the Signature Bank Business Tour. To submit your business for consideration, just go to bankbusinesstour.com. That's bankbusinesstour.com, and we might be broadcasting from your business in the near future.
Networks of the future are here now. Game-changing serverless networks with technology that's finally ready for prime time. Turnkey IT is ready to set up your business, increase productivity, save you money, and a lot of headaches. Imagine not having to purchase or maintain a local server in your building and continue using all the tools you rely on with Microsoft 365. Everything is in one place on the Office 365 cloud platform with all files and folders stored, backed up, and ready to be shared securely within your organization. Can your business go serverless? Turnkey IT can get you started with a free 5-point assessment to determine if your business qualifies, and it only takes about 2 minutes. Visit turnkey.pro today to speak with one of their team members to find out more and join the growing number of companies using the Microsoft 365 platform now.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
Hi, this is Bob Eubanks. Do me a favor. Don't treat this as a commercial. I want you to treat this as a conversation between two friends, you and me. Now look, if you owe the IRS $10,000 or more, I'm sure you're stressed out. But I've got a solution for you. You see, my friends at the Tax Defense Group can help. This is a family-run business. They do it the old-fashioned way. They put you first, and they never charge a big upfront fee. Now, I've seen them settle for a fraction of what is owed. These are honest, experienced experts who really know how to get it done.
The IRS is relentless, so call now for a free tax account review. And remember, there's never a huge upfront fee. Call 855-TAX-BILL. 855-TAX-BILL. That's 855-829-2455. 855-829-2455.
If you've got a tax bill that you can't pay, get help! Get help! Get help! The Tax Defense Group way.
Is a home renovation on your New Year's resolution list? It's hard to know who you can trust when remodeling your home. How can you tell if you're going to get your dream project or become one of those bad remodeling stories? Advanced Design Studio thinks remodeling shouldn't be painful. If you're nervous about home remodeling, Advanced Design is the company to call to overcome your fears. Providing positive remodeling experiences for nearly 30 years, their common sense remodeling, design, and build process makes remodeling predictable, averting delays and preventing budget overruns to produce a rewarding remodeling experience. So if 2020 includes a new kitchen or bath, a finished basement, or a much-needed addition to your home, make this the year you get the home of your dreams without the headache. Visit the team at AdvancedDesignStudio.com to learn more. That's AdvancedDesignStudio.com or call 847-836-2600. That's 847-836-2600. 2600.
This is attorney Stephen Leahy, host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard right here on AM 560 every Sunday evening at 5 o'clock. Let me tell you about Bill. Bill's business slowed down and he fell behind on his taxes. Instead of filing his tax return, he decided to wait until he could pay. Well, 1 year turned to 2, turned to 3. Then the IRS threatened to contact his customers, take his house, his bank account, and his passport. Well, Bill hired me. We filed all of his tax returns and an appeal to slow the IRS down. Then we worked out an installment agreement based on how much he could pay, not on how much he owed. Now Bill can rely on the IRS protection plan. We will file his future tax returns and keep the IRS off his back so Bill can focus on growing his business. If you have questions about the IRS, you can get a copy of my book, Deal with Your IRS Problem Today, to learn the secrets of solving your IRS problem and save your business, your marriage, and your reputation. Call 312-664-6649 or go to freeirsbook.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
We honored a black American patriot yesterday, Martin Luther King, and our armed services are honoring another one. Messman Third Class Doris Dory Miller was serving on the battleship West Virginia and sorting laundry when Japanese planes bombed and torpedoed his ship on December 7, 1941. Ordered topside to evacuate the captain who lay mortally wounded. Miller discovered an unmanned 50 caliber Browning anti-aircraft machine fired at the attacking aircraft. He also assisted in getting some of the wounded to safety. Wow. At the time, African Americans weren't even allowed to fire lethal weapons. They couldn't serve in any other capacity except in the mess hall. And now they're naming a U.S. Navy aircraft carrier after Messman Third Class Doris Dory Miller, which is well deserved. And it also prompts the question, why is the left media, things like the 1619 Project, why won't they extol the accomplishments of black Americans? Why is it always the victimology narrative and not the patriot narrative?
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Andy McCarthy at 8:08.
Right now it is 8 a.m. WIND Chicago.
We're winning like never before. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump told that to the World Economic Forum.
America is thriving.
Hailing new trade deals with Mexico, Canada, and China.
These agreements represent a new model of trade for the 21st century, agreements that are fair, reciprocal, and that prioritize the needs of workers and families.
And he's just met with the European Commission president trying to work out a trade deal with her. Before all that, he again called impeachment a hoax. His trial resumes this afternoon. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
8 House Republicans have been added to the president's legal team. A source telling Fox News that the lawmakers will not present statements on the Senate floor, but will give guidance to the defense team and advocate for the president in the media. Georgia Republican Congressman Doug Collins is a new member of the team.
We're providing the insight into the sham that was the House process and actually how bad these 2 articles of impeachment and flimsy they actually are.
Lawmakers will begin debating a resolution at 1 p.m. Eastern that would give both House managers and the president's defense team 24 hours each over the course of 2 days to present their cases. Dave?
John, Democrats don't like that fast-track plan. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer calls it a disgrace to drag each day well past midnight and hopes to alter it with amendments.
And make it a real trial with evidence, witnesses, and in ways that the American people can hear it.
Democrats accuse the president of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. Countries in Asia are trying to stop the spread of what's called the coronavirus from China, where 6 people have died and nearly 300 got sick. There are checkpoints at airports, rail stations, and on highways looking at people's body temperatures. A 19-year-old man facing murder charges in San Antonio for Sunday shooting in a club that left 2 people dead, 5 wounded. When Kieran Williams was arrested, he promoted his music.
Go follow me on Instagram _32baby.k9_. That's me.
Williams also claimed to reporters he acted in self-defense. America's listening to Fox News.
Sunshine, 15 degrees at 8:02. On AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Joliet police officer is free on bond after being charged in a crash on I-55 near Plainfield that killed a Berwyn police officer. Officer Aaron Zilka is facing a misdemeanor count of driving under the influence. Zilka could face more serious charges depending on the outcome of an internal investigation by Joliet police. The Illinois State Board of Elections is admitting that some non-U.S. citizens may have voted illegally in the 2018 election. Officials say nearly 575 non-U.S. citizens were registered to vote in Illinois, and some did vote. Almost all the voter registrations were in and around Chicago. A Villa Park man is accused of making a swatting call last year in Wheaton. Police say Timothy Jackson has been charged after making that 911 call in October, claiming there was a domestic disturbance involving a shooting at an apartment building. Officers from multiple departments responded later. Officers spoke with those inside that apartment and determined the 911 call was fake. Jackson is being held at the DuPage County Jail on bail in the swatting incident and on unrelated charges. Indiana's public health managers this morning say flu activity in that state is low, but still very deadly. Indiana State Department of Health saying the death toll from the flu has hit 31. That's up from 22 the week before. Chicago sports will find Joe Quenneville back in Chicago with his Florida Panthers as the Blackhawks host Florida later on tonight. Bucks beat the Bulls 111-98 in Milwaukee. Big Ten hoops, Fighting Illini play at Purdue, while in the MAC our Northern Illinois Huskies visit Kent State. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat, and now the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Deirdre Bolton, and this is the Fox Business Report.
President Trump is in Davos, Switzerland at the World Economic Forum, touting the strength of the U.S. economy. Across Asia and Europe, stocks sinking as the number of cases of coronavirus out of China spread. The Shanghai Composite down 1.4%. The Hang Seng lost almost 3%. And on Wall Street, stock futures are also down. And Delta Airlines thanking its employees for a strong year in 2019, announcing it would pay $1.6 billion in profit-sharing bonuses. That means every single eligible employee will get a check next month for 16.6% of their annual salary. That's about 2 months' pay. The only people excluded are the company's officers, directors, and general managers, though they'll be paid with their own performance-based bonuses. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Lilian Wu, invested in you.
8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
There's no better way to celebrate the great state of our union than to sit down to a finely prepared meal, pour yourself a nice bubbly beverage, and get together with all your rowdy friends. Yeah, that's just what we're doing on Tuesday, February 4th. Join us for our State of the Union viewing party, presented by healthinsurancementors.com. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/taste. Sponsored in part by Saint-Levin Age-Defying Skincare.
Attention maintenance coordinators and chief engineers. Welding is a craft requiring highly skilled personnel and specialized equipment. So who do you call when you need welding? Vans Industrial can perform all types of welding at your site or in their shop.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. As a metal fabricator and installer, welding is a huge part of our business. At Vans, we have trained AWS certified welders, skilled in welding all types of alloys. We can weld carbon steel, stainless steel, brass, and aluminum with a variety of techniques, including MIG, TIG, and stick. And we have equipment to reach the farthest parts or the tightest areas of your facility.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level, to perform the job right. Call 833-VANS-IND to schedule your welding project today. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or visit vansindustrial.com. VANSindustrial.com. Vans Industrial, working safe since 1964.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So, what do you provide? Cookie-cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie-cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
8:07. Business on AM 560 is a service of Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs. Let's check the roads this morning in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center with Jim Telemonte.
In Skokie, Niles Center Road remains blocked between Howard and Jarvis after a house fire. This is right off the Edens Expressway. There are Gapers delays inbound starting at Dempster. 26 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 27. Kennedy, 51 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 26 from Montrose, 21 on the Express. Eisenhower, 45 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 37 minutes from 95th. I-57, 33 minutes, siding to the merge, Mission 425. See delays on the southbound Tri-State, 120 to 176. Northbound in pockets, Harlem and 47. And from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. It's about a Reagan Tollway at 31. There's a stall in the left lane. It's heavy from there to Yackley. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1 hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Today, mostly sunny, the high at 29. It'll be partly cloudy tonight, low 20. Some sun to start tomorrow, then increasing cloudiness, high 35. Thursday, cloudy with rain or snow showers, the high at 35. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
15 at O'Hare, next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. Every Saturday morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Andy McCarthy, former Chief Assistant U.S. Attorney in Manhattan, Southern District of New York. Much in the news these past many months.
Yeah, I saw him last night on Special Report.
He's also contributing editor at National Review and author of I think it's a New York Times bestseller. If not, it should be. Ball of Collusion, The Plot to Rig an Election and Destroy a Presidency. He joins us now. Andy, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Good morning. It is a New York Times bestseller, and it's my mother insists it's the only thing that's true in the New York Times, but she's sure it's true.
Very good. So you wrote a piece in advance of this momentous day about impeachment generally, and I thought, as usual, a salient point. If this was serious, if this case was substantial, then you wouldn't have the need or the time for the sort of gamesmanship and showmanship that House and Senate Democrats have engaged in.
Yeah, Dan, I think that's right. I mean, you groped for a long time with how best to explain this to people, and that's part of the problem, right? If we had a real impeachable offense, you'd be able to explain it to someone in 2 seconds, but the Democrats couldn't even settle on what their theory was for what Trump did. You know, they kind of careened from, bribery to extortion to campaign finance to quid pro quo, and then they finally settled on abuse of power, which is a pretty amorphous and vague standard. But I think that all goes to the point that think about how different this would look if you really had an impeachable offense, which is to say if you really had something that had so convinced the public that the president needs to be removed that it would have put political pressure on 2/3 of the Senate to oust him. Something like, for example, if Bob Mueller had actually proved that Trump was an agent of the Kremlin, then I think we wouldn't even be starting a trial today. I don't think he would have been able to survive that. So, I think it's helpful to think about how different this would look if we were actually dealing with something that everybody could agree was impeachable.
So in the Clinton case, evidence was admitted automatically. Here they're going to vote, the senators are going to vote to admit any documents. Why the difference?
I think that they're drawing a distinction between the documents that came into the House's investigation and any new documents that they're talking about. I don't think they're going to actually have any difficulty getting into the record anything that the House already considered. Here we have an issue that we didn't have in the Clinton case, which is the Clinton case was the result of a lengthy, thoroughgoing investigation by a special counsel that Congress essentially adopted in the House. And there was a big argument then about whether what Clinton did was egregious enough and connected enough to his responsibilities as president to be impeachable, but nobody had any doubt about the fact that he did it and that it was wrong. Here, the distinction we have is that the House did a very shoddy, rushed investigation, provided the Senate with 2 half-baked articles of impeachment, and now what Democrats are trying to do, coordinating between the House leadership and the Democrats in the Senate, is try to get the Senate to finish the investigation that the House didn't complete. And the Republicans' position, of course, is that it's the House's job to do the investigation, and the Senate only tries whatever product the House gives them. It's not the Senate's job to continue and complete the investigation. So for this reason, they're having a big to-do over what documents and testimony already came out in the House versus what new stuff are they looking for. But I think with respect to the stuff that already came out in the House, it'll be very pro forma, and that will come right into the Senate trial. In fact, they've already been arguing about it in these lengthy submissions that they've made.
Chief Justice John Roberts presides over this trial. Where is he going to be material in the trial?
I think quite possibly not at all. It sounds like a very important position to be presiding over the impeachment trial, but in point of fact, it's probably more ornamental than substantive. And what I mean by that is the Constitution makes the Senate wholly in charge of impeachment. And the only reason the Chief Justice presides is because the normal presiding officer over the Senate is the Vice President, but the framers understood that it would be unseemly to have the Vice President preside over a presidential impeachment when the Vice President would become president if the President was removed. So they tried to solve that problem by having the Chief Justice of the United States be the presiding officer, but his basic job is to keep the trains moving on time and to enforce the regulations that the Senate imposes on its proceedings. And if he does anything that a majority of the Senate disagrees with, they can overrule him. So I think given Roberts's personality, which is to try to not make waves, and I saw the New York, I think it was the Wall Street Journal, describes him as an incrementalist, if I'm remembering. I apologize to the Journal if I'm attributing it to them and it was somebody else. But I think it was an accurate description of Roberts. He doesn't want the court or himself, I think, to be perceived as making earth-shattering decisions, because he doesn't think that's the court's role in American life. This is this is for the Senate to do, and I think he's going to make sure it appears and is in substance the Senate acting, not Roberts acting.
From the briefs that have been filed from both parties, is there anything new that we might anticipate as we move into the arguments from each side?
I think there's nothing new. To me, the interesting dynamic is two things. One is witnesses, and one is the president's position. What you're probably going to hear today, Dan, is a lot of back and forth about new witnesses and new documentary evidence. McConnell wants to defer all that till the end, virtually when they're deliberating a verdict. The Democrats obviously want to take the position that if the new witnesses and documents are relevant, which is why they say they're asking for them, they should be part of the narrative that the House impeachment managers are presenting to the Senate, and therefore they should be incorporated into the mix earlier on. They shouldn't wait till the end. I think the Republicans have the votes to say to them, look, if the witnesses were so important, then the House would have made more effort to get them. They didn't, so we're going to defer consideration of this, and you should count yourself lucky that we're deferring consideration of it, because since it wasn't part of the House proceedings, maybe we wouldn't have to consider it at all. So that'll be today's debate. And the other thing I think is interesting in the president's papers is it looks to me like there's a division of opinion in the president's camp about how they want to handle this. I think the lawyers want to take the position that on their face, these articles of impeachment are woefully inadequate constitutionally, and they should just be quickly flushed. That is, there should be a quick acquittal vote without the need to take new evidence. And that takes up about 2/3 of the president's team's trial submission. But then the last third, it looks like they go the other way, and the president wants a trial because he wants to be vindicated. So they make an argument on the facts, which I think the lawyers, they say there's no quid pro quo and the president didn't do anything wrong. There was no inappropriate action. They give a kind of a skewed version of what Ambassador Sondland's testimony was like, what it was about in the House. And I think there it looks like the president wants to be vindicated on the facts of the case. And the problem with that is if you take on the facts, that increases or betters the Democrats' case that they need more evidence. That is, if the president wants to put an issue, whether he did anything inappropriate or whether there was a quid pro quo, the Democrats are in a stronger position to say, see, we need these witnesses because they can speak to these issues that the president himself is emphasizing.
Right, but I mean, they're sort of arguing the alternative, right? It's half legal and half political. And so this seems to me what President Trump has said previously, which is, sure, let's everybody testify. Sure, Bolton's can say whatever he wants, Mulvaney, and then we'll call witnesses, and I'll be completely exonerated and vindicated. I want to spike the football and really punish House Democrats for this quote-unquote hoax, as he has said repeatedly. And, I wonder if this is so much like, let's include this because this is all the, you want to fight, I'll fight, and then you tell your friends, hold me back, right? I don't really want to fight, but I want to take the public position that I'm not afraid of anything, and I want everything to come out because I'll be exonerated, but I'm happy just to have this thing set aside based on the House Democrats failing to meet the evidentiary standard.
Yeah, look, I think there's a lot of that going on, and I think Trump is shrewd enough to understand that the Democrats don't have any belief or expectation that the president is going to be removed in the impeachment trial, right? That's not their objective because it's not going to happen. There's no way 20 Republicans are going to vote to remove the president. So what are they trying to accomplish here? What this has always been about, I think, is bruising him up, that is the president, for the 2020 election. And from the Democrats' standpoint, then, the longer this goes on, the better it is for them. Because even if the president isn't going to be impeached, the information that would come out in the trial is not going to cast him in a favorable light. You could say, well, but they're putting a lot of risk on, say, Biden, because if there are witnesses and the president's going to insist on testimony from one or both of the Bidens, I think the Democrats factored that into the mix when they decided to go down this road, and they've either decided it won't destroy Biden's candidacy or they're willing to run that risk for what they perceive as the greater good of a chaotic proceeding that could bruise Trump up. So I think that's their calculation. And McConnell sees this too, and McConnell, I think, for that reason, is putting the pedal to the metal here and is trying to get this thing over with ASAP.
Yeah, leave the Democrats shadow boxing, right, never get into the ring. He is Andy McCarthy, former Chief Assistant U.S. Attorney, Southern District of New York, contributing editor to National Review, and author of the New York Times bestseller, Ball of Collusion, The Plot to Rig an Election, Destroy a Presidency. Andy, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks. You guys have a great day.
You too. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Fred Astaire. Dance, dance, dance.
You know, social interaction is really important. Wouldn't it be great for all of us to do more of it? We're all into our social media, and I get that. But I'm talking about real interaction. Face-to-face, making people smile, and enjoying each other's company. At the end of the day, that's the good stuff in life. Studies have shown that when you leave your isolation unchecked, that it is not good for your well-being. So if you're feeling that way, let's change that by getting involved. The environment you'll find at Fred Astaire Dance Studios is so inclusive and welcoming that our clients really look forward to being here. And I've seen it time and again, where relationships made inside the studio strengthen outside the studio. This is Tony Dovolani with Fred Astaire Dance Studios. We want you to live your life to the fullest, and we're all waiting for you to get in here so we can get out there and dance.
Fred Astaire. Dance, dance.
Visit FredAstaire.com to learn more.
I just took mine. Did you? Balance of Nature. I'm doing it every day because I was off it for a few weeks. Don't know why, because guess what happened? I got everything under the sun. The flu, sinus attack, vertigo, colds. It was miserable. But now you got to boost your immune system, especially because it's only mid to late January, and a lot of people have colds and a lot of people have the flu. And the only way to help with all of that is to boost your immune system by eating well. And that means getting enough fruits and veggies, which I know we're not doing. So start doing what I did, what I've been doing, and take 6 capsules of Balance of Nature. You're getting 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies. 3 in the morning, 3 at night. Voila, you'll start feeling better in a few days. I know I have. And the next story could be yours, but you've got to order Balance of Nature today. So experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself and make 2020 a year of better health. Right now, Balance of Nature offering free shipping and 35% off your first preferred order of fruits and veggies. Start your journey to better health today by calling 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or go to balanceofnature.com. Discount code Chicago.
Get ready for the Rocket Mortgage Super Bowl Squares Sweepstakes, the largest official game of Super Bowl Squares ever, with millions of dollars in prizes. And best of all, it's free to enter. Every score change during Super Bowl 54 pays out $50,000. That's right, touchdowns, field goals, safeties, even extra points. We'll draw one lucky winner from the corresponding square to win $50,000. It could be you. Plus, 2 grand prize winners will win $500,000 they could use toward their dream home. One way to enter, 2 ways to win. See rules and enter now at RocketMortgageSquares.com. Then tune in February 2nd to see if you win. Rocket Mortgage, official mortgage sponsor of Super Bowl 54.
No purchase necessary. 18 years or older, except Alabama, Nebraska, and Mississippi. Ends January 30th. Licensed all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. The NFL is not sponsored promotion in any way.
Dan Proft here along with Amy Jacobson.
And we wanted to take just a minute to say thank you to each and every one of you who participated in our annual Food for the Poor campaign over the past 6 weeks.
Because of you and your generosity, we were able to raise more than $215,000 to provide food for an entire year for displaced Venezuelan children and their families living in Colombia.
We especially want to thank the many business benefactors who supported this campaign. Now, when you hear their commercials running on this station in the coming months, please support their business as a way of thanking them for their generosity.
Just because the Christmas season is over, that doesn't mean that the need has gone away. You can still make a tax-deductible gift of any amount to Food for the Poor by calling 844-862-4673 or visit 560theanswer.com/food. That's 560theanswer.com/food.
And on behalf of all of us here at AM 560 The Answer and at Food for the Poor, thanks again for your generosity.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, did you hear about that white nationalist rally that wasn't? 25,000 law-abiding gun owners getting together in Richmond to petition their government over the proposals of Ralph KKK Northam and the Virginia Minstrel Party proposing to more severely regulate guns in Virginia. And, of course, the D.C. press corps was all but rooting for violence and all the comparisons harkening back to Charlottesville.
Yeah, they even called it, the white supremacist rally, where it was really a Second Amendment rally.
Right.
And they had to take that back, delete those tweets.
Law-abiding gun owners peacefully gathering to petition their government to guard their rights. They cleaned up after themselves. Imagine that. And
that was refreshing. I got to tell you, that was really warmed my heart.
And even more refreshing was some of the comments from some of those regular folks who attended the rally that ran afoul of the Beltway press corps narrative, unfortunately. Oh, let's give an example. Like Chuck Smith, who's a Virginia resident and an African-American gentleman. He had this to say.
They want to liken this to Charlottesville, and they want to anticipate crime and violence. But these are peaceful people who come around with their weapons, and they're showing up here to send one message, and that is a message of unity. This government thinks this is just white people, just a few black people. There are people here who are united from the hills, from the mountains, from the valleys, and the message is one message, and that is that we want the Second Amendment to remain intact. You have a lot of people who are carrying guns. There's not a shot that's been fired. These are civil people. These are citizens of Virginia. These are citizens of the United States, and we want that message to go out that the governor simply cannot blanket or cannot put in one blanket what he feels happened in Charlottesville somehow is going to transcend to Virginia.
Yeah, because he declared a state of emergency and then had a permit where nobody could have any weapons on the state capitol or around it.
Another Virginia resident, Northern Virginia, his name is Mark. He's an African-American gentleman. He also had some thoughtful remarks that, again, sorry, Beltway press corps. He's just not reading from the script.
So why did you think it was important to drive those 2.5 hours?
One, I love this country. It's about the Second Amendment. It's about our ability to defend ourselves and our loved ones. It's not only a constitutional right issue, but it's also a civil right issue. The governor, who's known for blackface and or possibly having a Klan's hood on, has the audacity on MLK Day to declare executive order that would prevent people from lawfully protesting. This has been a long-standing rally where people have come and they have protested, and then on top of that, to add insult to injury, he wanted to push forth the narrative that white supremacists are stirring up issues. I feel comfortable here, haven't had any issues here. I don't know what the problem is. So it for me, as an African American on MLK Day, is critically important that we preserve the ability to defend ourselves and our loved ones. And I will not allow anybody to push a narrative saying that there are racist people at these rallies.
Love it. And the best, this obviously had Twitter spinning. The best tweet I saw was white supremacists seen near Richmond 2A rally, and it was the Ralph Northam picture of him in blackface and or a hood. Fantastic. Chuck in Delavan, Wisconsin, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, I want to know where the IRS is. When that kid from Florida that's now attending Harvard and he's mouthing off, I want to know, like, when you're on Let's Make a Deal and you get a $30,000 car, you got to give the government $10,000. Right. Who keeps giving this kid money to where he can drive around? Why doesn't he have to pay that as like a gift or pay that on his taxes?
Well,
I'm so confused.
Thanks for the call, Chuck. I mean, we have no idea. I don't know if anybody sponsored him. I don't know what kind of remuneration he's getting and if he's filing taxes appropriately. I assume he is. That's less material than what David Hogg and those like him have to say. The disgusting caricatures that David Hogg and others advance of people like you just heard from that were actually at the march.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, the problem with switching gender in prison. We'll begin there with Libby Emmons. But first, let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
15 degrees, sunshine in Chicago. The Senate impeachment trial of President Trump begins today. Proposed trial rules Majority Leader Mitch McConnell announced last night would include up to 4 hours of debate, equally divided between both sides on whether to subpoena witnesses or documents. Reporter Peter Alexander says Republicans have laid out a plan that would speed through the proceedings. with some marathon days.
According to these rules, this blueprint, both sides would get 24 hours, but those would be confined over just 2 days, which means opening arguments, 48 hours in all, could be smushed into 4 days.
President Trump, the third president in U.S. history to face impeachment in the Senate. Pressure to ban horse racing growing overnight after 3 more horses died in as many days at California's Santa Anita Park. Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams raising some eyebrows during his MLK Day speech he made on Monday, where he told all Midwesterners in New York City to go back home.
Folks are not only hijacking your apartments and displacing your living arrangements, they displace your conversations. Go back to Iowa, you go back to Ohio. New York City belongs to the people that was here and made New York City what it is.
Adams made the comments in an address at the National Action Network's King Day celebration. The presumed 2021 mayoral candidate in New York City told that crowd they were here before Starbucks. 2020 census officially begins today. The first census questionnaire will be delivered in the small community of Toksook Bay, Alaska. Health officials are investigating after 3 cases of Legionnaire's disease have been reported at a retirement community in Carroll Stream. A Joliet police officer remains free on bond after being charged in a crash on I-55 near Plainfield that killed a Berwyn police officer. And a church destroyed following a fire on Chicago's far south side. The blaze broke out yesterday inside Beacon Light Ministries near Michigan Avenue and 111th. Bucks beat the Bulls. Blackhawks take on the Florida Panthers tonight. And in the Big Ten, Fighting Illini take on Purdue. The news, a service of Staples with a huge selection of ink and toner in stock at low prices. HP OfficeJet Pro cartridges this week are buy one, get one 30% off. You'll get more for less. Offer ends 1/25/20. Restrictions apply. See store or staples.com/HPBOGO for details. Staples. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher knows why the impeachment circus started.
The reason behind the whole impeachment hoax, it was just to say he's been impeached for life. Wow.
It's like all they've got.
Well, we're not going to probably get him removed from office. He very well may win this year. Well, but at least we can say he was impeached. Aha! We got that on him.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, this is Dan Frio with the Mortgage Update. Daily you hear guys on the radio going back and forth about how they're better than the other guy, and then you hear how their team can help you buy or refinance a home. But answer this, are they a direct lender who has the ability to approve, underwrite, and close your loan? I am. Are they a middleman who's at the mercy of another company? I'm not. When you call, do you speak with the person who's telling you how great they are? Or are you talking to a salesperson? Not me. You work with me personally. And last, I put my money where my mouth is. I offer an exclusive rate match program for those times when I don't have the best rate. So to work with me personally, call 844-775-LOAN. That's 844-775-LOAN. Or find me on the web at windmortgage.com. That's windmortgage.com.
Parkside Lending, LLC is an Illinois residential mortgage licensee and an equal housing lender. NMLS 176162. Famous conservative quotes, presented by Automated Systems.
The late, great Winston Churchill said, "You will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every dog that barks." Pretty wise words considering all of the distractions in modern society.
Manufacturing companies, I encourage you to call my friend Laz Kulchar from Automated Systems. Automated Systems is a software and systems integration company that specializes in companies that are required to meet FDA compliance requirements. Automated Systems will create a custom solution for your business that will make your production lines, facilities, and plants run more efficiently. Imagine less downtime, more speed, and fewer rejects. From Fortune 500 to startup, ASI delivers solutions for your toughest automation challenges. For information, I encourage you to talk to Laz at Automated Systems. Call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit hireasi.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI, 844-HIRE-ASI, or online at hireasi.com.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, and your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com.
8:37, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Jim Telemonte.
In Waukegan, 120 is blocked at Green Bay Road. Crash. Skokie Niles Center remains closed between Howard and Jarvis after a fire. Inbound Kennedy, delays start at Nagel. It's now an hour from O'Hare to downtown, 26 minutes from Montrose, 21 on the Express, outbound 45 to the airport. Eden's 26 minutes, Lake Cook Junction, outbound 28. The Eisenhower's running 48 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 58. Stevenson, 59 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The ride, 42 minutes, 95th to downtown. Delays on the eastbound Adams Tollway are busy to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway, 59 to Winfield with a stall in the left center lane. Northbound Veterans Memorial, the delays are from Bowden to the Reagan Tollway at Army Trail to 290. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Sunny skies today, a high of 29. Currently, we have 16. Next news coming up at 9. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. I mentioned this op-ed in the National Post, Canadian newspaper, a couple weeks ago. Kelly McParlin talking about the left and how the left has disconnected itself from regular people. Too busy saving the world are the leftists to bother with your mundane everyday problems or the consequences of what they propose, what they advocate. And this manifests itself in so many respects, including with respect to trans rights, the trans rights movement. This piece in Colette.com, Marcus Evans, he's a psychoanalyst in private practice, formerly served as a consultant psychotherapist and associate clinical director of adult and adolescent studies at the Tavistock and Portman NHS Trust in Britain, National Health Service Trust in Britain. Why I resigned from Tavistock. Trans-identified children need therapy, not just affirmation and drugs. Over the past 5 years, there's been a 400% rise in referrals to the Tavistock Center in North London, the only NHS clinic in Britain that treats children with gender identity developmental issues. We do not fully understand what's going on in this complex area, and it's essential to examine the phenomenon systematically and objectively, but this has become difficult in the current environment as debate is continually being closed down amid accusations of transphobia. The de facto censorship is harming children. During the 90s, I assessed adult parasuicides, apparent suicide attempts or suicidal gestures. A number of my patients had gone through gender reassignment surgery and often were angry at the loss of their biological sexual functioning. They also were aggrieved with psychiatric professionals who they believed had failed to adequately investigate the underlying psychological difficulties associated with gender dysphoria. As a psychotherapist, I consult with various mental health services that manage patients exhibiting challenging behaviors. He talks about his observations with these patients. And then he goes to work at this Tavistock and Portman clinic. Again, it's a public facility available to everyone. It's the only clinic that serves children with these identity issues. And he sees parents expressing concerns about how their children are being handled, fast-tracked for developmental services like reassignment without any serious psychological evaluation. A mother of a group representing parents wrote to me in my role as governor of this facility on the Board of Governors. He replied and circulated copies of that reply to other governors, but the debate has been shut down. And those raising concerns, there's been an effort among colleagues to discredit them professionally. And so he resigned from the Board of Governors of this medical facility in London. Harming children. We don't fully understand what's going on, but we're going to go at breakneck pace to say a 4-year-old a girl who thinks she's a boy. Well, Let's get her under the knife. And this, of course, is the case in media as well. A story comes to us from the Free Beacon. Denver Post columnist says he was fired for saying that there are two sexes and only two sexes. There are only two sexes identified by an XX or XY chromosome. That is the very definition of binary. The AP ruling, saying that sex and gender are not binary, right. Associated Press. The AP ruling, the AP ruling it isn't, so doesn't change science. It's a premeditative attempt to change culture and policy. It's activism, obviously, not journalism. Right, activism in journalism is one thing, and it's not unsurprising or new. The sort of activism going on in science where you're unconcerned with the outcomes for your patients, particularly children, is breathtaking. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined again by Libby Evans. She's a contributor to Spectator USA, the aforementioned Quillette, as well as the American Conservative. Libby, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Sure, thanks for having me.
Well, you have written a couple of pieces recently in this whole topic area, and you've focused, among other areas, on sports. And again, we have example after example, they're becoming more numerous, of men interceding into women's sports and displacing women.
Yeah, it's really starting to be a problem. And one of the problems with it is that there is no cohesive policy in the U.S., certainly at a federal level, there's nothing. Every state is kind of on its own trying to figure this out, and they're all making different decisions as to what the right thing to do is. Some states are even not making a decision at a state level, but letting it just go to each locality to figure out what they should do about it. And the problem with that is, excuse me, the problem with that is that, men and women have differences. And when we just leave it up to people to determine it by themselves, we're asking them to make a choice between their feelings of compassion for people who have gender dysphoria and, absolute normal sense.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's really it.
Well, and so I guess the question is, do moms and dads want so many of their daughters collectively to be able to participate in sports at the K through 12, even collegiate level, or are they going to sit idly by and watch guys come in and replace the spots that perhaps their daughter should have?
The case in Connecticut there were two track competitors who were trans. They were male to female, and they've been winning all the titles. And some of the girls there and their parents have taken a lawsuit to try and get that overturned, try and get their spots back. And the Secretary of Education, Betsy DeVos, is interrogating that as well and has launched an investigation into Connecticut sports to try and see what's going on, that these girls are going to be denied scholarships because they come in 5th and 6th as opposed to, 2nd and 3rd or whatever it is.
Do you think we'll ever see a time where we'll have men competing, women competing, and then a transgender group?
I don't know that makes any sense, because who would be in the transgender group? Would we have female-bodied persons who are presenting as men competing against male-bodied persons presenting as female? What we see in rugby, for example, in the UK, is that when male-bodied persons join the women's rugby team, women competitors get brutally injured. Oh, yeah. I think the term was, one of the refs said that he was watching women get folded like deck chairs out on the field. Rugby is horribly brutal. It's more brutal than football. They don't even have pads. They don't wear helmets. And refs were quitting because they just couldn't stand to watch these injuries. I think some of those, there have been injuries also, I think, in roller derby, where male-bodied persons who are presenting as female are checking women against the walls, and women are just going down, and getting destroyed. One thing I think also that's pretty clear is we're not seeing trans men, women who are presenting as men, competing at high levels of male sport. We just don't see that. I did significant research for a piece that I recently ran in the American Conservative about this, where I was kind of just trying to figure out what is going on, what are all of these examples. And for women who transition and then go on to play sports, they end up making a name for themselves by doing the talk show circuit, but certainly not through championships. That just doesn't happen. Also, the first trans man to play NCAA basketball played for the women's team. Why? Because she was a woman and she wasn't going to play, I think it was George Washington, she wasn't going to play on GW's men's NAAC, NAA, whatever.
Well, right.
And it's not going to happen. She's not going to hit that level.
And that's not even the point, right? I mean, the point is to say, no, the world has to recognize me and afford me the opportunities based on how I identify. I mean, that's the whole
cheating.
That's the whole point. I mean,
Right.
they don't want to be they don't want to be separated and have like a trans team. They want to be fully assimilated. And here's this Colonel Jennifer Pritzker here in Chicago wrote this op-ed in the Chicago Tribune the other week, and he transitioned to a she. And what Colonel Pritzker said, and he was mostly talking about the Republican Party to which she affiliates, the party continues to champion policies that marginalize me out of existence, define me as an eccentric character. And so he's questioning his continued allegiance to the Republican Party, or her continued allegiance to the Republican Party. But you can. It seems to me this is sort of the mau-mauing language that backs so many people down. You're marginalizing me. I'm not marginalizing you. You can identify however you want. You can live your life however you want. So as long as you don't impinge upon others to do the same, and that impinging upon others to do the same. It's actually you that's the moving party that's impinging upon others to do the same. And it's you who is using government to impose your will when it comes to bathroom and locker room policy, or when it comes to sports, or even when it comes to, oh my gosh, medical treatment of minors. And I don't think that's been sort of more forcefully argued
I don't think
as
so
well
either.
as much
And
as
I
it
think
should be.
Yeah, and I think the medical mistreatment of minors, because let's call it what it is, it's complete mistreatment to take a perfectly healthy young girl who's never had a sexual experience, remove her breast, remove her reproductive organs, and capitulate to this idea that she's really male just because she doesn't want to grow up into a woman, which, let's face it, growing up into a woman, especially at that age when you're hitting puberty and everything, what is a disaster? It's like, just watch the life cycle of anything. It's a horrible situation. So you're taking these girls who have no experience of their bodies, and we're telling them that they're really boys. And the reason that we're doing this, and we're doing the same thing to young boys, except I think that the surgical interventions that are being done with young girls are far more irreversible. Typically, young boys at that age, they're not going to be castrated. This has happened. There was Susie Green's son. She took him to Vietnam on I believe it was Thailand's 16th birthday to have him castrated. So that's such a great birthday present. She's the head of Mermaids in the UK. But what happens, but for most young boys, that's not the first step, right? That's just not the first step.
Right.
But with young girls, they take their breasts off pretty much right away. That's irreversible. Even if you're a young boy and you get breast implants, you can get those.
Removed.
You can get silicone breast implants removed.
Right.
Your development is going to be stunted by puberty blockers, and you're not going to get that growth back. In terms of like genital development. But for girls to have this stuff done to them is just brutalizing. I mean, I couldn't imagine. And there's so many detransitioners, young women in their 20s. And the reason I think that this is going on, and it's being pushed so forcefully, is because the most vocal people in this movement are middle-aged men with these life crises where they want to feel themselves up. So in order to justify their, midlife crisis fetish, they need to say that they were always this way, because the only way that they can adapt to the language of mistreatment and all of that kind of stuff. The only way they can adapt that language is by saying they were always this way, and the reason they hadn't transitioned is
Can't they
because
just buy a
social
sports
stigma and
car like?
whatever.
Can't they just buy a sports car like everybody else? Yeah.
Well, back to
Right,
some
I mean,
teenagers.
just get divorced.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Get a divorce.
Like that's bad enough without completely destroying your body and society at large.
Don't you blame, too, the doctors? I mean, I know someone who's in high school. She's transitioning into a he and has been wearing like a bandeau to keep the breast down. But the doctor
Mhm.
stepped in and said, she's having a hard time breathing. Her lung capacity is at risk here. We need to do a double mastectomy. So I think
Oh,
that
my
the
goodness.
doctors,
It's
too,
What a horror.
are
It's
to, I
insane.
mean, do they make money off of this? I mean, they even have, a transgender unit now at Northwestern Memorial Hospital.
They're
full of
ideo-
psychiatrists and
they're
psychologists and
ideologues.
surgeons.
They're
And they're
ideologues.
using these terms like pregnant person, menstruator, and then complaining when women say that a woman is a biological reality. What is this? The thing that I'm worried about, and I was recently on a panel here in New York with the Women's Liberation Front and Posey Parker, who was talking about she's worried that that we're done, that we've lost, that this is never going to reverse. And that's something that I'm sort of starting to be afraid of as well. This, a lot of us keep talking about this. We get shouted down. We keep talking about it. Women lose their jobs. Women lose their friends. They, get yelled at by teachers and doctors. They lose their kids because ACS steps in when you don't just go along with your 14-year-old daughter having a hysterectomy. And society just keeps pushing along. Government keeps enacting these laws. I think New Hampshire just passed a bill that said, sure, boys can compete in girls' sports. The IOC is going to allow trans women to compete in women's sports in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. And all they have to do, and this is interesting too, because it's doping, right? They have to be on estrogen for a year. They have to get their testosterone down to, I think the maximum is 10 nanomoles per liter of blood, which for a woman to try and get up to 10 nanomoles, it's like a decade of testosterone still isn't going to get her there.
Well, also too,
So what is it?
Also too, the science is pretty clear on this. There's a study by a journal of endocrinology that it doesn't matter that you still have men retain the muscle and strength advantage even if you adjust testosterone levels. I mean, just the structure of the body, they still maintain a huge strength and thus competitive advantage in most sports.
Yeah, of course they do. And their ability to build muscle mass is still far increased than women. And their hips aren't further apart. They have all the advantages. And it's absurd to think otherwise. It's just crazy. But I don't know. I don't know how we're going to reverse it. There's a bill up in Colorado right now to make medical transitioning of minors a felony. So we'll see what happens with that.
All that it takes for evil to succeed is for good men and women to do nothing, and that's sort of what we have happening here, it seems to me. Libby,
I think.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Yeah, Libby Ahmed's contributor to Spectator USA, Quillette, and the American Conservative. Libby, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Amanda Zanger, owner of Black Industrial and Safety Supply in Hammond, Indiana, and a business customer of Signature Bank. Prior to owning my own business, I worked for a major financial institution. So when it came time to finance the acquisition of Black, I approached a big bank, only to receive a solid no. That's when Signature Bank stepped in. With Signature Bank, the process was different. Signature provided creative financing options that enabled me to purchase Black and continue to grow the business. Thanks to Signature Bank, Black Industrial is able to continue serving Fortune 500 industry fabricators and